It's Tuesday, but it's just not any Tuesday. It is MEME Race Tuesday. It is doubleheader, Talladega doubleheader Tuesday here in the IndyCar Oval Series. Hello again, everybody. I'm Gary Gatso. Welcome to P1 Broadcasting coverage of Round 4, Season 3 of the 2024 IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday Night Top Split on ERN, coming to you from the world's fastest virtual speedway, Talladega Super Speedway. Cast of characters always with me in the booth. Stephen Larkamp, Justin Petschauer, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, LGN guys. We are here getting ready to watch race one of a doubleheader tonight. We will have a podcast in the middle. We'll talk about IndyCar news and all that stuff going on as we go between races, but the first of the doubleheader, a split of 47.97 is the strength of field number. Not as big as the second split or the second session last night, but still pretty good. And we got some ringers in the lineup, but starting with you, Steven, thoughts about returning back to Talladega? It's always one of our more popular broadcasts.
And for good reason. And as always is the case with any restrictor plate track, whether it be Daytona, Talladega, or the iRacing Super Speedway, or as Justin likes to call it, the redacted Super Speedway. This track tends to bring out a lot of craziness just by the nature of the beast. Like, in the draft, these guys will be touching over 250 miles an hour. And already on the qualifying runs, I'm looking at Mitch David right now, and even in the middle of the corner, he's never dipping below 238 in the middle of these corners. The speed is insane. Like, there's a reason why it'd be fantastic to see IndyCar race here, but there are pretty good reasons why they don't, and that is one of them. Talladega, we get to see it in the virtual world, and as I recall last time we were here, there was a lot of craziness from start to finish.
Indeed, there was a lot of craziness, and I'm just going to say it as someone that has won here in the NIS, albeit 9 years ago in the spring race. This is always going to be chaos, even in whether it be in the IndyCar Oval Fix or even in the NIS Fixed. It was always great. It's a meme race. Here we go. It's going to be chaos. But there are some names in here that I do recognize from my NIS days. Jose Solis Jr., Sean Pellig. Brendan McGee is one of them as well. So a lot of familiar faces in here.
Hey, Lewis, I know you raced here a number of times when the IndyCar Fix came here. I can't imagine this was one of your more favorite races.
Well, when I wasn't that time, we don't have that race over here. It's like so I remember Daytona, Talladega, the first two on the year. It's like just to lose IR team. It's coming here and just race one time and the weekend. That's it. But anyway, the thing is, the only strategy I can set over here is how to brake on the pits and how to handle it to exit the pits, because you don't need to even change tires on this race.
True. Very, very true. Let's get tonight's starting lineup in there. Stephen Larkamp. I think a good number of guys chose to not take some speed, but some did and put up a pretty decent number. So let's get that in right now.
Indeed so. Looks like only 9 drivers posted qualifying times, and on the pole, a driver who actually won here the last time we were here in Alabama. Trey did on the pole. He won the first of the doubleheader.
Almost won the second one.
Almost won the second one, and then insanity ensued.
He wanted to fight insanity on that one again.
Insanity was Adriano Pinero going 4 wide, and that's how he got his nickname. So.
Yeah,
4 wide and a Scott Goodyear moment as well, I might add. And he will be alongside Adriano Fraporti. Good qualifying effort from him. Only one of 5 drivers to break below 40 seconds. And you compare that to the times that stock cars run here, that is insane. Road 2 will be Brandon Trost. Another good qualifying run for him, naturally. And very close to a win several times. He's had a lot of pace, but I'm not sure if he's too confident about the pace here tonight because of all the craziness that I expect to happen. He'll be alongside Mitch David in the 24. Gabriel Mauricio in the number 7 machine will be starting off 5th. He's in a Kyle Larson livery, I might note. He'll be alongside Stephen Lee in the number 23, starting 6th. AJ Musselman making his return to the series. He will be starting off 7th in the number 10, alongside Craig Forsyth, another old name from long, long ago for us. He'll be starting off 8th in the 15 machine. Matthew Opplinger was the last of the qualifiers so far. He's going to start 9th in the 22, alongside Jose Solis Jr. in the number 4 machine, also in a Kyle Larson livery, too.
Oh,
if you look behind him in Sean Pellick, that's also another Kyle Larson
Oh,
scheme.
God.
So, use the Larson scheme show.
Yeah, get used to that, folks. Mark Murphy will be starting off 11th in the number 6, alongside Sean Pellick in the 8th. Our old friend Clendy, Kyle Clemworth, will be starting off 13th, alongside the 12 of Ty Quilla. Brian Campbell in the 13 will start 15th place, alongside Matt Powelski in the 14 car, starting 16th. Jeff Drake's number 17 starts 17th, and they match the numbers pretty evenly in a lot of cases here. Jeff Drake 17th, Antonio Estrada 18th, Brendan McGee in 19th, Jaden Profit in 20th, Jacob Collins in 21st, Masato Shimizu in the 25 car will start 22nd, Jacob Dudai in the 26 car will start in 23rd, and coming up from the back will be Robert Malechka, Hamilton Akabuze, and Jacob Oster, 3 of the heavy hitters, and of course Malechka, one of the front runners in the championship.
Yeah, we got 4 starting from pit road too.
Oh yes, we do have a few pit road starters. One of them
is our pole sitter,
Musselman and Stephen Lee,
and our pole sitter,
yeah. Tricia did. Okay, then.
I'm going to be honest. I think they're playing the smart strategy, but also if you go back and look, Malechka, Akabuze, and Oster, ironically, they're starting 24th, 25th, and 26th. Look at their car numbers.
1, 2, and 3. Malechka, Akabuze, and Oster. 3 of the heaviest hitters you could possibly have in IndyCar competition at Talladega, starting from the back. Probably not a bad idea. I think I'm in agreement with a lot of you guys on that one. But get ready for this, folks. If you've never seen IndyCar's race at Talladega, the biggest, baddest speedway of them all, in Anniston, Alabama, let's get this party started, because you are in for something special and something chaotic.
If you could only hear what the drivers are saying, even they're hyping themselves up.
Oh yeah, they have every right to be. And it's going to be the slow run, 75 miles an hour, waiting on Brandon Trost. Green flag flies. Very slow start for Trost there. And look at the launch up on the highline there. What a start. Who was that?
That was Jose Solis Jr., joined by Sean Pellick. They stacked them up on the front, and they went straight to the front on the start going through 1 and 2. But wow.
And that was legit as well. In fact, Mitch David has actually got a penalty, I should note. But Jose Solis Jr. from 10th on the grid officially up to the race lead before they even got to turn 1 and 2 of the Kyle Larson liveries running 1 and 2. He has got is that Sean Pellig behind him?
Yep.
Oh, jeez, who's on the outside?
And also Mark Murphy and Matt Pawelski saw what was going on and said, no.
Yep.
Brendan McGee leading
21
the opening
spots.
Wow, what a launch and what a start to this race. This is what I'm saying, folks. Talladega and IndyCar is something else. And already speed-wise, they're getting up to 240 miles an hour, and they're having a ball. It's the way I always like to think of these races in my mind. You ever saw the old Speed Racer movie from 2008? Imagine that.
Speed Racer.
Except close to it.
Go, Speed Racer. Go, Speed Racer. Go. Oh,
All right.
crap.
Can we make a pact now and just kind of hit it home on the rest of this streams for a minute? Can we put a hold on the Larson liveries going forward, please? Please.
Well, Sean Pellig is saying no to that one. He is leading this race now in the number 8 machine. Good start there from 12th to the lead. And right now, Brendan McGee slotting in behind him with the 2 Kyle Larson cars up on the high line, Jose Solis Jr. And trying to see who the other one is up there. Was that Gabriel Maruccio? Yeah, I believe that was Maruccio. They've actually gotten themselves back up to the lead, too. So Sean Pellig still holding the point there, but Maruccio slots into P2. So I think your wish is not going to be fulfilled there, Gary.
And we're running along with Clindy at the moment. He is slotted in 10th. Just turned a lap at 2:34 in the draft and was lifting.
Yeah, as well they probably should be at the moment. They're going to be lifting quite a bit here in the draft. They're trying to save that little bit.
Stevie, I hate to interrupt you, but look at this. Look at the 24 of Mitch David. He's just passing people up on the high side. He's going straight to the front from 17.
Wow. And where was Mitch David before? That is a massive launch. And if I recall right, Mitch David, yes, he has a penalty to serve. He has a black flag, I guess, for jumping the start. And this is the last lap he has to serve it before he gets DQ'd, and he's going to go to the lead beforehand.
The problem is, I mean, he wants to get up there so he could get into the pits and get out of the pits before getting lapped. That's the big thing, and he's going to have to stop again. So does he do the drive-through? Does he stop and get a top off? I mean, I think it's a race to 25 laps because everyone can get to 25 laps if they do some fuel mileage. Here he comes down low.
There he goes. That's what he was doing.
Yep, probably. And let's see how this play works out for Mitch David here. Not an ideal circumstance to be sure, but if you can get it out here and stay on the lead lap, the main question mark I would have is the very slow pit exit they have here, because you have to stay on the apron until you get past turn number 2. There's a blue cone. You have to stay.
He's coming in the stop.
He is coming in for his pit stop
He's not
here.
going up on the jack, so he's going to top off the fuel as well as serve his
40
penalty.
40-second stop.
Oh, 40-second hold. So this is day done here, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is a death blow penalty for sure for Mitch David. I would think that since iRacing now has the ability to actually do pass-through penalties, I would have thought that would have been the case, but it would seem not for Mitch David.
Stephen Lee on the outside here in that second lane.
Yeah, he was in the very back of the very back half of the field, and he just said, "Okay, y'all are playing Caterpillar, the snake line across the bottom part of the around the track, kind of like what we did in the NIS for years." Steve,
here he comes.
Yep.
Outside. Gonna get a run here coming off of 3 and 4, and he's just about clear to the bottom. And he's going to take that spot.
And let's not forget, Stephen Lee started on pit road. And what a launch up to the lead of this race for the 23. This has just been back and forth, back and forth. You got guys going from middle pack in a lot of cases to the lead pretty easily. And he is actually clearing these guys.
Another car on the high side, Jacob Collins. And he is joined by, let's see who's joining him, Jaden Profit or Matthew Oppelganger? Can't tell.
That is Jordan.
I think that's Jaden Profit.
Jaden Profit in the number 20 started 20th up to 14th on the clock at the moment, but that is going to change right quick here. But let's see how he can get him on the high side here. This is, like, these guys really seem to be slowing each other up a fair bit just for the sake of fuel mileage, and Stephen Lee is taking that and saying, nope, not quite the strategy for me.
He has a 0.5 of a second lead at Talladega. That might as well be a lap.
It was a 0.6 of a second lead at the stripe there, so Stephen Lee has found a lot of momentum, but I'm looking at Sean Pellick right now. I think he's catching him.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, like this is, like these guys going to the front there, they're mimicking what Bill Elliott did here.
Yeah, but they tend to forget once you get in that clean air, especially in the front, all that draft momentum that you had goes away. You hit that brick wall of air.
Yeah, sure does.
Here comes Sean Pellick, and he's demonstrating that pretty effectively here. And like you get that feeling like you're Bill Elliott, but then you realize, oh wait, we're not in a non-restrictor plate stock car anymore.
There he goes. Stephen Lee moves down to the bottom line in front of Sean Pellick. But look who's up on the high side. It is Jaden Profit. But I think Jaden needs to start realizing maybe the strategy of going towards the front and taking the lead is not going to work. Probably get up close as he can towards the front, back off a bit, slot into an open spot, and
10 laps in.
And, you know, just say...
Ooh. Pellick was going to take a look underneath Lee just after the start-finish line. We're 10 laps in. Looking pretty good so far. Nothing squirrely yet. Help us keep the positive momentum. If you enjoy P1's coverage of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split on ERN, respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash the like button and click the bell so you'll miss out on future ERN iRacing broadcasts, including the start of their IndyCar season August 1st at Homestead Miami Speedway, part of the Warriors for Peace IndyCar Series here on ERL. We're going forward. Here we go.
Bit of a squirrely moment there. It looks like all three of the Kyle Larson cars were about to be in trouble there. But look at Jaden Profit up on that high line. He's not really taking your advice there, Justin. He is trying to go for it, but I think what's going on here, I think you're calling it. But he's back. Lead dips down low.
He saw what was going on behind him and said, I don't want to get net coated. I do not want to get net coated. I am dropping to at least mid. Oh, God. Here we go. Here we go.
Smart call by Stephen Lee, working lap number 12 as Sean once again taking the lead of this race.
Who would have thought that we would see a race where Porty's like, you know what? I'll let you guys handle this.
And
the mailman is refusing to deliver on the week of the 4th of July.
Oh man, I mean, even the Postal Service has got to have its holidays. But I think in this case, for Porty, like when for Porty is more tame on the overtakes here, you know the races can be crazy here. I think he knows that. I think he knew that pretty much immediately. But look at this. Look at Jaden Profit. On the high line, he clears it, so move another car from the back of the pack up to the lead.
22
and it's only
spots.
lap 13, folks. This is a 50 race.
22 spots. And, wow. Hey, there is a little bit of IndyCar history here at Talladega. And there goes, look at Stephen Lee on the high side shoot to third place all of a sudden.
Almost saw some contact there with Craig Forsyth, and I think Brandon Trost as well in the mid-pack.
I think there was a bit of netcode contact there that I saw because I didn't see no parts flying off.
But you saw something getting squeamish there.
It was a huge stack up, but no harm, no foul. But I think everybody's just they know it's a MEME race. They're just bringing out the chaos. Is all I'm going to say on that part.
I mean, it's what you do in a MEME race, isn't it?
IndyCar has never officially raced at Talladega. Talladega was on the USAC Champ Car 1980 schedule, if you can believe it or not, and was wisely canceled, more than likely. But besides Foyt's test here in 1974, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, there's an urban legend in existence that Nigel Mansell, of all people, tested his 1993 Newman Haas Lola here. If he did test here, no one really knows why or what any of his lap times were. Open wheelers have raced at Talladega before, albeit on the combined oval infield road course in the form of Formula Vs and the Formula Fords in 1970. And you can thank the infamous NASCAR man on Twitter for spoon feeding me that information about IndyCar history here at Talladega.
And that's one thing I think always eludes a lot of people. This track does have an infield road course. It's just that iRacing has never modeled it, so no one on the iRacing service seems to even mention it.
If I remember correctly, they haven't used it since the 80s, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And speaking of insane action, look at Stephen Lee. He's coming back towards the front again. I think I know what he's doing. He's going to the lead, staying there for a bit, dropping to the back, and he's having a ball with the old, to quote Talladega Nights, slingshot engaged.
Yep, and you're definitely going to get a lot out here. Pretty much to the extent you actually saw in Talladega Nights, like more so than you would ever see in stock cars. But look at Stephen Lee.
There's
all the way on the fourth, on the high line there in the third lane.
And another thing that I'm noticing here, fellas, and here comes Trost. Trost getting a big run, and there's contact.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness! Oh,
and that's
so
kind of a little bit of a repeat of what happened when I was watching yesterday's race. Trost would get these big runs, and then he would get up alongside someone. They would see him too late, and they would try to shut the door, and often that would cut somebody off, either cause a wreck, or in this case, we have a one-wing angel out there in that DHL delivery out there. Who is that? That is Brendan McGee.
It's McGee.
Yep, that's Brendan McGee in the DHL delivered with pride scheme.
Does he really need that other wing? He might actually be a little faster now on the straights.
Possibly, but the problem here, of course, is going to be when it's time to come down on the pit road, I think. Like, you're going to need the downforce when you're braking, particularly, but I think for the time being, he's going to be okay as long as he doesn't have a meatball flag, which is not being shown to him at the moment.
So another thing that I've noticed here is that the regulars are kind of in the back, single file, really holding their line. The ringers that have decided to show up today that have a high I rating, but not are regular participants in the IndyCar Series, they're the ones, with the exception of Trost, with the exception of Lee, they're the ones up at the front. And I think that they're just having fun driving an IndyCar at Talladega and not really realizing that every little twitch they make of that wheel makes that car move a whole lane.
I mean, I can't say I entirely blame him for that thought process there.
Here's Brendan McGee on the outside, 3 wide, with that missing wing. He's got 2 cars piled up. Guys, you cannot bump draft here, and side drafting does not work. Don't even try it.
And confirm. I've actually done that in the IR05 way back when, and that was sketchy even then. You definitely cannot get away with it now in the IR18s. But Brandon Trost now being scored as the race leader with Jaden Profit tucking in behind him. And look at this run on the top side. The one-winged Brendan McGee fighting for the lead at Talladega with 2 Kyle Larson machines behind him. This is only something Talladega can provide.
Yeah, but he's going to hit pit road. He's going to get regular service done. Oh, and then he Brazilian clears. Soulless there. But he's going to get that job done. He's going to get this pit job done, his pit stop done, and then he's going to have to wait another 5 more seconds to throw in a whole new wing, front wing assembly. And by that 5 seconds, might as well be a lap here at Talladega.
Yep, that is definitely going to be the big problem, to say nothing of possibly reduced downforce when you're coming on the pit road here, so you gotta be very careful. But that is gonna be, like, I think McGee's definitely been told by the iRacing spotter at the moment that your front wing is missing the left side there. So he is got to realize he's going to be in for a wing change when he comes on the pit road.
He's got to hold your line, buddy. Hold your line.
Oh my goodness. That was almost a wreck.
I don't know if he got loose there or he was trying to hold his line. The car wasn't reacting because he's a little lighter on the front.
Oh my goodness. And that, again, gotta reiterate, 240 miles an hour, and you're having these hair-raising moments.
Craig Forsyth pulls off the pit road.
Yeah, and
Runners.
he's the first car on, and he's a little early. I saw a lot of people starting to come to pit road at 25 and cutting this race in half, but he might have gone as long as he possibly could have because we've had no caution yet. But we're flirting with it. Here are the best laps, and we'll remove the driver inputs there and show you the best laps. The fastest lap, I think, is Shadid at 2:43.7. Am I seeing that right? Shadid, Robert Malechka back there. Let's do the split here and show you a little bit further back.
Just for the record, Craig changed tires.
There it is, 252 for Malechka. 252 in the draft for King Robert, and he is back there right there just kind of cruising.
Let me bear in mind how fast that actually is. The closed course speed record for any racing event ever was Gilles de Ferran at Auto Club Speedway. Oh my goodness, Brandon Trost is out. At least 4 cars are involved, more of them ducking down low, but Brandon Trost is out. Who else was that? Jose Solis is around. Brendan McGee is damaged.
All those guys that came to pit road.
Hey, Jacob Dudai in the 26 also involved in it as well. He was having a monster run up to the front there, and another car went airborne. That was Jaden Profit stuck in the catch fence in the middle of the back straightaway.
He launched off. Oh, we got beef. We got beef between Trost and McGee.
Oh, dear. Yeah, we are hearing a massive argument between Brandon Trost and Brendan McGee on the radio. It's lost on the broadcast. You can't really hear it, but they are not happy with each other.
Guys, I hate to say it, but Trost tried to bump draft Brendan McGee and just literally turned him.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was looking at that whole situation, and yeah, I can kind of see that.
And let's watch from I want to watch from Forsyth's point of view. Actually, he was coming off of pit road. Who is Peleg? Let's watch from Peleg's point of view here. As there is contact on the back stretch, and Peleg a little evasive. Oh, he just goes right through. Lucky him.
Yep, unbelievably lucky. And another driver as the leaders all come down onto pit road. Mauricio, Peleg, Stephen Lee. Pretty much everybody coming onto pit road here. Another driver inserting himself into the beef here is Sean Peleg. He's pointing out the sheer audacity of trying to bump draft someone in an IndyCar at Talladega. I don't blame him for that thought, if I'm being honest.
Stephen Lee misses a spot but backs up into it.
Yes, he did. Overshot his pit box there. And I think someone else did too, was that might have been Clendy overshot his pit box there and comes out still within the top 10 from the looks of things. Okay, now 13th place actually. So a couple of spots lost for our old friend Clendy. But a few drivers. Brendan McGee, by the way, is
still
actually
rolling.
still rolling, trying to do whatever. Just sheer defiance. Absolute defiance at this point, even though his suspension is gone, his nose is gone. Like, obviously he's going to come in, but he is he's obviously not happy with the situation at hand here, but he's just running his little protest laps.
Well,
here.
let's put the camera on Mitch David. He did not lose a lap, or at least he did lose a lap, and now he's in a position where he's going to get a wave around and get one of those laps back. So by staying out, so that is good on him. So he'll be now one lap down to the leader when he gets the wave around. Your leader is Brendan McGee. Brendan McGee's going to have to come to pit road. So David will get the wave around, and then Forsyth will pick up the lead by virtue of McGee just not trying to he cannot continue in that condition, and I'm not sure why he wants to stay out there this long. Maybe get a lap on everybody else that wrecked with him, and so he tries to improve those positions. But if he stays out there much longer, he's really going to start screwing around with alignment at the start. So he really needs to make that turn down pit road right now, and he's not.
He's not coming in. What is going on here with the 19 crew? And I should note here, the beef has not subsided at all. The covers, like the arguments going back and forth on the radio are not stopping right now. This has really riled up a lot of these guys. They were hyped up, riled up to begin with, going to the green flag here, as pretty much everybody is for Talladega. But this is turning into one of those races that I think a lot of people are going to be talking about at this point. Like, these guys are going to be beefing probably on the forums afterwards.
Well, and we got another race to do after this, so we'll see if it carries over into race 2. McGee going down to the apron under the yellow line. He really needs to come to pit, and the lights are out on the pace car. So this is not good. What he needs to do is just fall off the pace and allow these drivers to pass him, but Mitch David is not getting the waiver. I'm not understanding what's going on here.
I don't either. And if I'm Mitch David right now, I'm furious at Brendan McGee at this point, because this is like, this makes no sense.
Justin, the sporting code doesn't really allow this per se, right?
You could kind of get away with it, but it's extremely frowned upon.
Well, this might be something that someone wants to take issue with. I would have thought he would have come to pit road before going one to go. That would have given the lap back to Mitch David on the waiver round. But now David he might risk another black flag out of this when he comes to pit road, and the whole field's going to have to check up.
Yeah, and also, one thing I should also know, Sean Pellet got a penalty for pit road speeding, I think.
Stevie, I hate to interrupt you guys, but what McGee said, he's pitting. He's just staying ahead of the dead mobiles on track.
Well, yeah,
he should have came in last time.
But he had no reason to stay out this extra lap here.
He should have stayed, and that really screwed Mitch David. He should have came in last lap. He's going to check out the field. Go ahead, LGN.
If I David, I stayed more back to don't catch that. So yeah, I stayed more back, like maybe 5 cars or 10 cars on the back, or yeah. Anyways.
Okay then.
This has just been insanity, and I don't really see the reason for a lot of the stuff that's happened. But green flag back underway. Craig Forsyth is the leader of this race, and the field was really spread out on that start there. Masato Shimizu in second place. Gabriel Maruzio sitting in third. It's not going to take too long for these guys to bunch up, given how big the draft is here, obviously. But this has turned into quite a crazy race. And Forsyth and Shimizu, Forsyth I know has pitted earlier. And there goes Mitch David, probably furious at the current situation here. And now Shimizu takes the lead for the time being. And now we got our little 4-car pack here. And the guys behind are about a second in arrears. That is a huge gap.
Well, they were a second in the rears, but not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. Stephen Lee has got his foot down pretty hard. Look at the run he's got up on the high line.
All I can hear coming through Stephen Lee's radio chatter.
To the front goes Stephen Lee up on that high line, and he's bringing the rest of the field with him. That little
this is a gaggle. This is a gaggle here.
Yes, it is. I'm looking at Ty Quilla.
That's too tight.
Oh, it is getting pretty tight there as Maruzio trying to give whatever push he can to Stephen Lee in the middle.
Ty Quilla with teammate Kyle Clinworth coming with him.
2 wide, 2 deep, and 3 wide, 2 deep, I should say, at the front of the pack.
In trouble, 2 deep. Ryan Campbell, also a teammate with Clindy and Quilla in the battle here. And Estrada, a teammate with those 3 in the battle as well. So here come teammates into the battle.
Oh my god.
Oh my!
Just threading the needle.
Oh my goodness! And look at Jose Solis Jr. now. He got a monster run up on that high line now. He's trying to make moves happen here, and I'm seeing another car driving back to the pack as well. Probably a good idea at this stage.
I think that was Ty.
I think Quilla went to the back. Yeah, Quilla. It's like, no. He's gonna sit. He's gonna get in line with Antonio, and their teammates are gonna work with each other and just wait till things calm down. Clindy's still in the battle, and Brian Campbell is in the battle now on the low side, right behind the mailman for Porty. Porty moves up to third.
Stephen Lee. I think that was Stephen Lee and Mauricio made contact there.
No, that was Jose Solis Jr. and Stephen Lee that made contact.
It's so hard to tell with the Kyle Larson liveries.
Oh my God!
There.
Can we please retire that livery?
It's the new Red Bull skin for IndyCar.
It pretty much is. But Jose Solis Jr. is
Pretty wide.
Oh my goodness!
Come on, for Porty, watch that apron for Porty. Don't do it, buddy. Oh, we get contact almost at the tri-oval. Car's getting a little light there.
Oh my goodness! Look at all this.
I know Forsyth is streaming from his race point of view right now. Hi to all those folks that are watching him. Hopefully you have us open another window and you're watching us as well.
But also to remember that very bottom line in the tri-oval, it is almost completely flat.
Yes.
Yep. It is definitely a different kind of banking compared to the rest of the tri-oval there. So you gotta be very, very careful with where you place your car. And there's also some bumps down there as well, as I can having a look at all the guys there on that low line. Shimizu and for Porty, a little bit bumpy there on that low side there. You gotta be careful.
Well, speaking of Ty Quilla, we said he was dropping to the back. No, there he is.
There he is. Yep.
Dropping back to the back of the pack there. Psych, I'm back.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got more beef now. We got beef between Jose Solis Jr. and Craig Forsyth. This is not an NASCAR. Please stop bumping the side of me.
Yeah, I would agree at this point, especially given what just happened to bring out our first caution of the night that caused a major wreck and even more beef. I'm inclined to agree. Bump drafting not advised.
Yeah, I'd listen to Craig Forsyth.
Even the side hitting as well. It's not smart. It's not smart. Not smart. That I don't know why I said not smart. I think I was probably thinking of Michigan State University Spartans.
A bit early for college ball, I think, but
hey, you know what? It's never too early because July 1st, actually, the Big Ten realigned. So, football season is always playing. There's a wreck. There it is. There it is.
Please, Mauricio and Forsyth, more drivers. Oh, contact behind them.
There it is.
Caution is out, obviously.
And let's see, is it more of the same? Who was next to him? It was Netcode.
That was Solis.
Solis, Mauricio, Shimizu was on the low side. Yeah, looked like Netcode contact. Yeah, that was big time Netcode between Solis and Forsyth that started that whole mess, and from there, everyone just had to dodge, and some did it better than others.
Yeah, Solis was just really flirting with disaster there, and that's I know what Craig was talking about. Craig wanted a little bit of extra room just to account for that, and Solis was not giving it to him.
And if there's one place you never want netcode contact, you never want it anywhere. But there's
Solis
one place
almost came up off the apron, and almost got in the side of Stephen Lee.
Yeah, that was dangerously close. I think I saw a couple of other instances where there was more contact after the initial impact and the initial incident happened. So let's see how this shapes out as the pace car, they finally catch up to it. Shimizu leading for Porty, Clemworth, Estrada, and Campbell, your top five as it stands.
And I'm just going to say this. Solis, you had to ruin a Greg Moore scheme. Shame on you.
Oh my goodness. And
5 points from Gryffindor for Jose Solis Jr. for ruining a Gridmore scheme.
Well, let's see. I don't think we're going to have Jacob Collins coming in.
Malechka overshot his box.
Oh.
Overshot his pit box there.
Yeah, but it's okay. I mean, he'll come out. He'll lose some spots, but he'll get right back in line. We're under caution.
Yeah, and this is about the point where...
he's going to wait for somebody.
Oh, he is going to wait. And Oster is as well. Is that Jeff Drake there sitting on pit road as well? Yes, it is. So I think, yeah, these guys are having the idea still starting towards the back. Now, we're going to have 12 laps to go this time around there. We don't have much time to work with, but if you saw how big the draft is here, Malechka, Oster, and Akabuze, I'm expecting them to just...
They'll shoot up right up to the front. Yeah, they'll shoot up right to the front. They will absolutely shoot up right to the front. Well, let's reset the field here. But before we do, if you're joining us, this is our second caution of the day. This is P1's coverage of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split on ERN. Coming to you from Talladega. This is race 1 of 2 of a doubleheader we're covering tonight. We've completed, we're now coming, to 12 to go here? 38 of 50 laps. If you're enjoying tonight's coverage and would like to monetarily support us, please find a link to our GoFundMe campaign in the stream description. We realize times are tough, so any donation, no matter the amount, is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for joining us, and thanks for donating if you have in the past. If you haven't, now's a good time. Hit the link in the description. We certainly would appreciate it. Resetting the field is Shumitsu's your leader. For Porty, the mailman is second. Kyle Clinworth, Estrada, Campbell, and Quilla, all teammates, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Stephen Lee, seventh. Trey Shitted, eighth. Those two are teammates. Oppelliger, is ninth. Matt Pawlowski making an appearance here on the top split in a very rare appearance for him, but he's in his I believe that's his family member's livery from they raced modifieds maybe, and he used that in the IndyCar race and the Indy 500 that we covered here on at the previous channel, and he's in that same livery today, and he's brought that home up to 10th. AJ Musselman 11th, Murph is in 12th, Akabuwizi 13th, Malechka 14th, Jacob Oster 15th. Jacob Collins, I think, is disconnected. He's been having flashing and blinking issues all night. And Gabriel Mauricio, I believe, is he still on the racetrack?
Mauricio, yes, he is. He's limping it around, again, trying to get an extra lap on the wrecked cars, it looks like.
But he's going to hold up. He's going to hold up. He's going to hold up Trost, and that's not going to make Trost happy.
No, it is not. I mean, Trost is 11 laps down, to be completely fair, so it's not like it's going to cost him any sort of chance at a win, unfortunately.
Yeah, but in 8 laps, he passes 2 cars. So yeah. Every little bit helps. There's your weather conditions on the screen. We'll get those off. We'll go back up to the leader. Go ahead.
Expect Jacob Collins to fall out any moment. There he goes.
Yeah, Collins had a connection failure, it would look like. He is out of the race, unfortunately.
He might have to get off that AOL dial-up.
Yeah. But Masato Shimizu still holding on to the race lead, came in earlier than a lot of the other drivers and definitely been saving fuel, I would imagine, this whole time, along with Craig Forsyth until Craig was involved in the latest incident, sadly.
In chat, we had someone says, Gary, I got roped into taking a shot every time you mention a Kyle Larson livery.
Well, there goes our shot at broadcasting anymore.
Say Kyle Larson livery 3 times.
Kyle Larson livery, Kyle Larson livery, Kyle Larson livery.
Drink. But anyway, Masato Shimizu, green flag flies for the 25 machine. Has been doing pretty good so far. I do wonder how well the fuel strategy is going to work out at this point, but definitely keep an eye, of course, on Akaburze, Malechka, and Oster towards the back of the field as everyone's starting to get into fighting spirit as Kyle Clemworth takes it onto the high side of Forporti.
Yeah, I don't think Clindy wanted to wait. Not a good restart for Shimizu. Shimitsu's going to give it up on the backstretch. Right behind him is Forporti 2. The lead here is Kyle Clemworth, but on the top side, here comes El Patron, and not even higher than that. Oh, geez, here's all the teammates, all in four-car formation right at the front. We got Clinworth, Estrada, Campbell, and Quilla all at the top there.
Can we call this the Flying V formation?
Flying V formation, just like the Mighty Ducks.
Oh, indeed. Kyle Clemworth leads that lap. Antonio Estrada in the middle.
Stacking up on the bottom there.
A little bit of a stack up on the low side there. You gotta be careful when they start checking up like that. One driver, I think that's Musselman, diving down onto the low side, trying to get out of that fray.
Okay, Clinworth he has to stay glued to the bottom. If he stays glued to the bottom, he's gonna get no one's gonna should be able to pass him.
Good man. Do not give up the bottom of that racetrack, Kyle.
Speaking of Kyle Larson livery, take a drink. There is one car left, and then a shot.
Because
what a move! Trying to stick it through the middle of the right. Unbelievable! Shit,
that was not called. That was. Come on, guys.
That was way too aggressive. I will agree.
Come on.
Spooked Shimizu there and took him down to the low line, and he made contact with another car on the way.
That was Stephen Lee.
And it was Tracia Did. Tracia Did actually make contact as well when he got spun around.
And Glindy's keeping his foot in it, going all the way around to catch that pace car. Get another lap checked off really quick there.
And even more beef, I will say. The radio channels have lit up.
I'm not quite sure what Sean was thinking there. I think he had a run, and he just didn't have a place to put his car. And I think that's the deal there, is he just had a run but had no place to put his car. And he couldn't roll out of it. And all you need to do is just very simply roll out of it. The downforce will take care of the braking for you. But here we'll watch it. Here we come through the tri-oval. So he has Forporti to the inside, Shimizu to the inside as he moves up into the draft. Now he sees this hole open with Antonio. That was very wishful thinking and opportunistic to think that he could slide in there. That was mistake one. I think he just lost his front wing, and he just keeps it in there when he probably should be thinking about rolling out and maybe just trying to get another run at this instead of causing a wreck like he just did. And I think Stephen Lee started to see this thing unfold in front of him, and Stephen Lee was actually going down to, and we'll watch him here real quick. I think he sees this starting to develop in front of him, and he actually goes down to the apron to try to avoid all this. Let's watch from Stephen Lee's point of view.
I'm very overly aggressive, I would think. I get that's getting close to the end, but you still have a lot of time to work with that.
Yeah.
Just very
I mean, show everybody that you're a 4K driver. Don't just send it in there because you have an IndyCar and you think you have the speed. And watch Steven. He's like, uh-oh, I don't like what's happened. I see parts shedding. I don't know. I don't like. Okay, here it happens, and I think he goes right to the apron, going, "I'm going to try to avoid this." There it is. He goes to the apron, and Shimizu right in front of him. He clips it, almost hits the wall, might actually hit the wall, but I think everything snapped back into place for him. Oh my goodness, he saw it coming.
Incredibly lucky there for Stephen Lee, but it was a smart overall move on his call, on his part there, and he gets away with it. I think he actually did make contact with the wall a little bit, and then it just straightens out for him. You're right.
I'm going to raise a little bit of hell here.
Uh-oh.
Sean Pellig is 16th, one lap down. He did not need to be up in that main pack racing he did.
That's very true. And Tross says it, not aggressive at all. He's a lap down. He's got to get the lap back, which is true. I mean, he's trying to get the lap back. He sees the leaders. But it's a different style of IndyCar racing. We're not. There's no lucky dog here. So he can't just hang out. He has to get in front of the leaders and hope there's a caution. But again, once you start impacting other people's races, that you're up there with the leaders, I think that questions a little bit on etiquette. But I'll let everyone else make a ruling on that. And that's just me. It's just me calling a race here on YouTube. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think if you're one lap down, especially at some place like Talladega, your chances of getting a lap back at IndyCar because we don't have a lucky dog are extremely, extremely remote. Although it did work for Mitch David. He's still one lap down, but he's got one of them back.
That little tactic by Sean, I hate to say this, but it almost reminded me of somebody from the land down under, and Stevie knows where I'm going with that.
Oh, boy.
Mr. Zero incidents, zero crashes. It's everybody else's fault but mine.
Yep, I think I know who you're talking about there.
Let's take a look and see what we got for fast laps. Robert Malechka still has the fast lap of 252.855. Yes, that is in miles per hour, 252.855 miles per hour. Obviously, very draft aided, but he's still, nevertheless, in the 250. Oster's in the 250 as well, 250.463. Murphy at 247.1. Those are some of the bigger ones. Shadid at 248.1. Klidworth at 250.5. So those are pretty much all your 247s and higher for the most part.
And we're talking about speed here. Just wait till we get the hybrid system on iRacing in this car.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Yes,
even more insane.
That's gonna be fun.
I'm gonna say between maybe the range of 250 and for.
Now Clindy's blinking, and we don't need that.
For meme purposes, 260.
Wow, like that is going to be incredible. And bear in mind here, one thing I was actually going to say before the first wreck, as Clenworth is blinking, you are right. One thing that
and Pella
Pella
gets forced to the back because of the IndyCar rule of all the lap leaders are grouped together on a late caution. But go ahead, closed course record.
Yeah, closed course speed record for any racing event ever was 2000 Auto Club Speedway in kart, Gilles de Ferran, 241.428 miles an hour. We are going over 10 miles an hour faster than that here tonight. That is incredible.
And Clindy with a big jump, but he's going to have two teammates right behind him that are going to give him a little bit of protection. But when we're getting down to the last 5 laps of a big top split race, how long do those teammate agreements last? How long are all those wingmen going to stick with him? Is Antonio going to just send it and get the position? Is Ty going to come with him? Are they going to try to protect? They're just going to race it. They're just going to go 3 wide. Ty Quilla down to the yellow line. 3 wide in the 3. Quilla to the lead.
My goodness. Passing under the yellow line. He put 2 wheels under there, but Ty Quilla takes the lead of the race. Now goes up to the high side now, and Estrada now to the point. And here comes Porty getting into the fray as well.
Ty Quilla realized, I can't go below the yellow line. I can get that position. Oh, that's close.
Getting chippy already, and 2 drivers I'm keeping an eye on for.
Tracy Deed, high side, big run.
To the pack. The big guns are here.
Yeah, they waited long enough. They're all sending it right now.
Yep.
Matthew Oppenheimer is kind of the odd man in this group, as this is a complete group of regulars now at the front.
Yeah, these guys have played it well. They played it smart. And right now on that low line, that is Trey Shadid. The pole sitter has gotten back up to the front after starting from pit.
4 wide again as they come to the line.
More 4 wide shenaniganery. Estrada and Ty Quilla, the 2 in the middle. Oh my goodness, they're still holding it very, very well as they start to get more into 3 wide, multiple lanes deep.
3 wide, almost 3 rows deep. Now back down to just 2 rows and 3 rows deep. What's going to happen here? Nobody knows. But this is Talladega. There we go.
Oh, gosh. And that's the race. And Trey Shadid is going to get the win. But it's going to be...
Stephen Lee was in it. Oh, my goodness.
Estrada and Clinworth. That's the race right there.
And oh my goodness, massive wreck, and look who it gives the win to. Let's call him a Talladega whisperer, Trey Shadid. Pole going into this race, starts from pit road, gets himself up to the point, and wins for the second time that we've covered him on one of these Top Split broadcasts here. What a run. Trey Shadid played it smart, like everyone, like all these guys at the front were. They saved it to the end, and Shadid, very nice win, I will say. But it took out a lot of drivers to do it.
All right, we'll watch from Hamilton's point of view here. As I think there was maybe a little bit of contact, little net code there on Quilla. Quilla collects Hamilton up into the catch fence. There goes Stephen Lee. We saw for Porty. There goes Powalski. And that is it.
Hamilton Akabose just missiled right into the catch fence.
We should get a white flag this time by.
White flag in the air. Very anticlimactic one in a lot of senses, but Trey Shadid has got to be happy with it regardless. Antonio Estrada and Kyle Clinworth, I'm sure they're happy not to get collected in that mayhem as well.
I'm just going to say this. We call this a meme race. You know what that reminded me of?
What?
I hate to bring up the god-awful movie, but it was something straight out of Driven.
Yep. I mean, this whole idea is probably something straight out of Driven.
And a lot of limping cars out there. Trey Shadid's going to get the win. Antonio Estrada second. Kyle Clinworth is a third. Matthew Oppeliger in that low scheme. So we do have a NASCAR scheme getting at least a top five here. He will finish a fifth there. Mark Murphy is going to bring that IAR car home sixth very quietly. AJ Musselman, a very quiet top six for him in sixth spot. Powalski going to bring home a limping car seventh. Ty Quilla is going to bring home his car limping to eighth. For Porty in the same aspect, he's going to bring home a limping car ninth. Malechka, well, he is missing a front wing. He was tied up a little bit on that, but he's going to bring it home for a top 10. Now, we haven't showed you the points coming into today's race. We'll do that during the intermission. Jacob Oster is now 11th. And he seems to be all in one piece. Brian Campbell seems to be in all in one piece. He'll come home 12th, but he was amongst the leaders there very late. Stephen Lee limping home in 13th. Mitch David is the first car one lap down in 14th because never quite able to recover that. Pelig in 15th. Jacob Collins back on the racetrack after rejoining. He is down 2 laps down in 16th. Shimizu on pit road and Akabuizi on pit road for 17th and 18th. So we got right now coming down, I believe, off of 4 into the tri-oval area. Trey Shadid for the last time, or at least on this race, and for the second time, as on our broadcast, it's top split races here, gets a win, and for the second time at Talladega. Welcome back, Trey Shadid, to Victory Lane.
What a crazy race. Trey Shadid, though, played it smart, and he has his second win on our broadcast tonight at Talladega. And bear in mind, folks, we got one more of these to go. Oh, and it's not over yet for Stephen Lee. He's limping across the line right now, too. Like he's got like 17 seconds before the session ends officially here.
This is the third time Trey Shadid race here this week. So this is the first win And the second pole, I think, yeah. So
Yep.
the first one was fourth, the second one 8th, and now he won. So good for him.
Very well done to Trace Shadid, and does some donuts to celebrate it, of course. And I'm sure he's going to be happy to talk to us again.
Let's bring up the final results here from Talladega for race 1. Trace Shadid, your winner, Antonio Estrada, P2. That's his second podium here. He had one last season and this season. So second podium here on the top split. Good to have him back. We'll talk to him very shortly. Clindy, another podium this season, keeping pace. That's exactly what he wanted to do. Finishes third. Ringer, Matthew Oppeliger, he will go ahead and finish fourth. Mark Murphy will finish fifth. Musselman sixth. Pawlowski seventh. Pawlowski, I hope I'm saying that right, Matt. Let me know if I'm butchering that. I got a feeling I am. Quilla eighth for 49th, and RM3 King Robert III finishes 10th, which is probably one of the worst finishes we've seen in quite a while. And when your worst finish is a 10th, this just kind of tells you how good you are. Moving on, Jacob Oster 11th, Brian Campbell 12th, Stephen Lee 13th, Mitch David 14th, Peleg 15th, Collins 16th, Akabu Easy 17th, Drake 18th, Shimizu 19th, Brendan Trost in 20th. And Gabriel Mauricio in 21st, Forsyth 22nd, Solis 23rd, McGee 24th, Prophet 25th, and Dudai and 26th. That rounds out the remainder of our 26-car field. And looks like old friends are burning it down at the start-finish line there.
Yeah, we're having some fun, and man, like these guys, I gotta be happy for Trace here, and they're happy to.
And they blow
just
up their
made it all the way to
engines.
the end in a lot of ways.
And so my overlay is not working for some reason. So let me get.
Oh, and these guys are also still beefing in chat, by the way.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, let's do that. There we go. There's a way around that. If I can bring him in. I cannot bring him in.
He's here.
Oh, here he is. Clindy, congratulations, my friend. I know you wanted more out of that, but I think you were talking about it in an earlier interview. As long as you keep getting podiums, that's the goal, right?
Absolutely, man. Grinding them out. P3s. It's my third one of the season, and I threw one away at Iowa last week, racing too hard with Jacob. So, I feel like this is just desserts or maybe a little bit of icing on top. To be able to finish in a dead heat for second and lose to the cleanest pass I've ever had happened to me at Talladega. Congratulations to Trace. He did a great job getting by us there for the lead. That was well done by him. I can't be more proud of him in the way, that we all race each other with respect at the front. So I know that there were a couple of weapons out there, but luckily they took themselves out and allowed the rest of us to have a mostly clean and fun race.
I'm just going to say this. A couple of weapons?
Yeah, I mean, there are 2 or 3. I don't want to point fingers or name names.
I was thinking maybe 4?
Hey, man, I mean, sometimes, like a dull kitchen knife, it's dangerous not because it's sharp.
Well, he went with that analogy.
Anyway, I got to go to O'Hare to pick up my wife. I'm actually racing at my buddy's house. So thank you so much, Eric. Thank you for letting me podium in your kitchen on your kitchen table. I'm on one monitor today.
Oh, wow.
So I couldn't see to my left or right. It was awesome. But yeah, go follow Julia's Kitchen TW on Instagram. She makes the best Asian fusion food on the planet. Sometimes you'll see me making a buffoon of myself in the kitchen. Shout out to everyone who I raced with today. It was awesome to be at Dega on the high banks on the Elite Racing Network. Thank you, Gary, for having P1 broadcasting on the side of my car. I'll be so excited to be with you in the booth later this season. With that, I am out. See you guys later.
taking care of business as he does. Kyle Clinworth finishing third. All right, let's. He's already out of the channel. Let's bring in Antonio Estrada. And there he is. Antonio, congratulations, man. P2. I thought maybe I might have a shot there for a win until the caution came out, but not today. But it's been a while. But we got you another podium and another interview here on the Top Split.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Yeah, we were a little close. I think we did have a shot. You know, it was going to be tough because the outside really needed a lot of momentum in order to complete a run. And I really didn't have many ways to pull it. But I was going to, drag race Trace as hard as I could. But unfortunately, that caution came out and took out a couple of guys. But yeah, I mean, super happy to be here in the second step of the podium.
Go ahead, guys. If you have any questions for Antonio.
So I think the main thing I want to talk about is we obviously saw a lot of drivers go towards and start from the back, but then shoot their way up to the field here. You definitely seem to be a lot more calm and collected on that front there. But so was that all I'm sure you always were thinking that it's good to take it easy and get there to the end there. But how hair-raising was some of the stuff that you had to go through to get to that point?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I typically on the play tracks, I try to hang back as much as I can because there is really no benefit to going and storming through the field, and you get into hairy situations. So I had to avoid I think at least 2 or 3 that were like, oh man, there was the first wreck I barely missed it. I was gonna be clipped on the back from a car that was spinning, and I had to gun the car just to make sure that I avoided that. So after that, I was in the top 10. I was like, okay, well, I mean, saving, I guess that's going to be a way out of the window. So then I was like, okay, well, if something happens, it's going to happen up front. It was scary, as typically it is with Talladega.
Yep.
Well, shout outs, friends, family, anyone you want to say hi to. Of course, we all say hi to your mom. We know that you've been taking care of her a lot lately, but and we're always thinking of her. But I know that you got some shout outs out there that you want to get off your chest. So go right ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, of course, my mom, that she's getting better. We're very happy about that. So shout out to her. Shout out to my family. They're watching at home. My wife, my extended family. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Also great racing with Kyle, with Ty, with Brian, with Jacob. We did a fantastic job to, get through the field and get together. And, we had a blast doing that. Also, thanks to ERN, for taking us up and letting us continue with the broadcasts. And of course, thanks to P1 Broadcasting. I have them on my car as well. And that's it. Go listen to the Warnings new album just out. And it was just released this Friday. So yeah, go ahead and give it a spin.
All right. Well, congratulations. Good to have you back on the podium again. Might we see you in the second race of the doubleheader?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so.
He's
this has been enough chaos for me.
Quit while you're ahead. Quit while you're ahead. I got it.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, man. It's good to see you, and we will see you. And for those of us still listening here, Antonio will be with me this Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern on ERN here for the IIS, at Mid-Ohio. As we start the ERN era and also start the hybrid era this weekend at Mid-Ohio in the real NTT IndyCar Series. So he'll be joining me in the booth for that race on Saturday at 2 p.m. We'll see you then. But in the meantime, go celebrate.
Yeah, thank you. See you on Saturday.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. And let's bring down Trace. Trace, we got you got muted here, so go ahead and unmute yourself. But congratulations, sir. You are, as someone said in the broadcast, the Talladega Whisperer, because every time we come here, you're fast qual, fast during the race, and then you always manage to be up at the front in the last couple of laps, and 2 wins here now. We've covered Talladega here a couple times here on the broadcast. And you got one win back in 2022, I think. And then, of course, we had nothing happen in 2023. And then we returned to Talladega in 2024 and another win for Trace. Congratulations, man. Which makes you so fast here?
Caution coming out at the right time. I mean, I think that's how it happened both times.
Yeah, it's just a lot of stuff worked in your favor, though. I think I could also, like, we were talking to Antonio about being some of the cooler heads out there. We saw a lot of people going full bore early on and fighting up at the front. A couple of wrecks, obviously, but you always seem to keep your head cool in that sense. And the same could be said for guys like your Robert Malechkas, your Hamilton Akabuzes, your Jacob Allsters of the world. Like, do you often find have you found, like, even outside of the big broadcast races, do you find that still works out for you even in, like, just your run-of-the-mill fixed race here?
Well, here in general, I start from the pit lane.
We saw that.
I'll fight up front, I started in the back. And I will say, probably shouldn't, there is a certain few that joined this race that told me definitely start in the back.
Yeah, and I wouldn't blame them at all in that case, and it definitely worked out. I think we were working under the assumption that there was going to be at least one caution here, and that was all we needed to get you back up in the fray.
Yeah, at least one caution. When you, how did you really catch that group so quickly? Would they just go to instant fuel saving while you guys were at full burn and all working together, cooperating to kind of make yourself a very efficient draft train? Is that how you caught them so quick? I mean, we saw you, obviously you have to wait 5 seconds after the green flag and everyone passes you, and then you could take off. Normally you're anywhere from a half of a lap to 2/3 of a lap behind, but you and that whole group really caught the lead group really quickly.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. Sometimes I've had to wait, like, it seemed like forever, like 3/4 of a lap. It let us go right away. I mean, that's the point of qualifying, so I'm close to pit exit as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it let us go right away. I mean, I was in map 5 as I got on the track. So
what was kind of mileage here? I was suspecting that right when that first caution came out, which was right around lap 25, a lot of people were thinking about hitting pit road about that point. Is that what your strategy was, or you're just going to run it until it went dry?
I was pitting in at the end of lap 24, so
okay,
right on cue.
Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors, teammates, anyone you want to say hi to?
No, just Steven, Mark. I mean, it's just a fun group of guys to race with.
All right, well, congratulations. Might we see you in the second race of the doubleheader?
Oh, it's a doubleheader?
Yeah.
I guess so.
All right, well, we'll see. We'll see if we can go 2 for 2. Trace Unid wins the opener here in the doubleheader, as Ernie Banks used to say, let's play 2. So that's what we're getting ready to do. Trace, we'll see you at the green flag for the next one.
All right, catch you then.
All right, guys, we do have a little time to burn, and I will clear here the graphics here and bring up what the points were coming into this race. You see Robert Malechka is the points leader by almost 100 points over Oster. Oster, they basically finished 10th so there's really no change there. Clindy gets a little closer. He is 877. Shadid 4th. Alex Van de Sant, VDS, not in today's race, but he did win the top split, which was a really big 4.9K race yesterday, and he is, by virtue of winning that one, he's catapulted himself up in the 5th. Trost is 6th, Moskowitz 7th. Moskowitz had a pretty good Monday in terms of the races I saw. I think he finished on the podium both times there. He's 7th, Quilla 8th, Campbell 9th, and for Porty 10th. The remainder of your top 16 there is David, Lichtenberg, Cares, Lee, Labronte, and Justice Hill. So guys, we are getting ready to go into the next portion of our broadcast, which will be the podcast. But final thoughts from you guys, starting with you, LGN. The opener, was it kind of what you expected?
I don't know. I don't have opinion about the race. To be honest, it's just only survive and just survive and just survive like Chadid did. Just started on the pits and then tried to be on the front and then just trust on the guy on the next to you. I thinking about the Japanese guy. I forget the name.
Shimizu?
Sorry. Yeah, I feel so bad
Masato.
for him. Yeah, Masato. So I feel bad for him because it's like the Japanese people so polite, and the people from here, this side, we complain for everything. And the guy got wrecked, and he didn't complain, nothing. He didn't say nothing. It's just only, it's okay. And for sure, it wasn't his fault, but anyways, that's bad for him. And good for the team, Estrada and Kyle. So good for them. And also Richard did what I said is a third race on the week, and he won the race today, so that's good for him. But it's not really too much opinion on the race. It's really like everybody get wrecked and blah blah blah. So anyway, it's like it's okay, good race, and
Justin, going to you next. The ringers kind of played a little bit of a role more than they really wanted to in this particular race. Unfamiliarity with the cars and the rules. I mean, you're the one that you do by far the most jumping between the two than any of us have. So, probably not much lately, but back in the day, maybe you did. Is it not just unfamiliar with the cars, unfamiliarity with the rules? I'm in over my head. I got something to prove. I mean, what's going on out there with these ringers when they're kind of making these weird mistakes coming to a restart like McGee that trapped down Mitch David, and then of course we got some of the ringers out there just racing entirely really really too hard at times where they should just kind of be following in line and waiting to get to the last 5 laps or so. Is it a nature of also just how they race in the NASCAR land where they have to go now and every lap's the last lap in NASCAR?
Yes.
Yes.
But with I really don't know how to put it because I'm still blown away at to quote Mooncar, we have beef, and I never thought I'd see this much beef happen in a meme race of all things. For funsies races, I call it, even though it's for points.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of on the same wavelength there.
It's just like you got guys that are unfamiliar with this car that are starting to make probably feel what it's like, especially at a place like Talladega where we don't run in real life. I mean, we got close a couple of times back in the 70s and 80s. Never happened because they realized this is not really safe, so to say. So yeah, but I think they're starting to feel out what it's like in terms of like how much you can push, especially with the draft because of how close we run these cars on the deck to the ground and stuff. I think they're starting to realize you can push it, but if you push it just too much, like what we saw with Peleg and them do, it's a major recipe for disaster. Now, Brendan McGee, I have seen before in a couple of IIS races in the past, just like I've seen Ty McRider also run in the past. As far as I know, Ty McRider still says driving an IndyCar, especially with how bad the Gen 6 was from 2019 to 2021, as well as the Gen 7, they call it the next gen.
Next gen, yeah.
It's the 7th generation Cup car. For the love of God, just call it that. The Gen 7. It's not fun. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like what I predicted in a tweet that I somehow can't find. I'm gonna have to go down the rabbit hole again. But it's also like what I predicted, and I told Stevie, I told you, Gary.
Yeah.
We're gonna start seeing guys essentially start moving away from the NASCAR stuff because the current Cup car, it's crap.
Well, and I think it helps you got Talladega week paired up with for Trucks C at Mid Ohio.
C-Fix decided to join us this week with the IIS at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah.
Yep.
Steven, last shots here, and then we'll we'll maybe take a small break for everybody, so you can go hit restrooms, grab a drink, and then we'll start the podcast portion of the broadcast. But your final thoughts here on race 1, and what should we expect for race 2? My feeling is, I think you're going to say this is second verse, same as the first.
I'm kind of on the same wavelength there. I think I'd agree. Like, this race was pretty much how I expected it would play out. Just chaos for the most part, but the cream rises to the top towards the end of the affair. Because the guys that know this car very well, knows how heavy the draft is and know how to work it. These guys, and the patience too, because patience is a big, big, big deal. At Talladega, in any case, it's a big deal. But here especially, you really got to be patient and take advantage when you can, but also maybe like tone it down a little bit than going 4 wide and when you're being squeezed. I don't know. But yeah, like this was the kind of craziness I come to expect from Talladega, and it did not disappoint. And I mean that in a very good, in a caring way in a lot of ways, because it was definitely an entertaining race, that's for sure. But the chaos here has made a lot of people quite frustrated with each other, as we overheard many a time on the radio.
Well, it wouldn't be the 4th of July without fireworks. And the weekend is starting early here with the first race of the Talladega double header.
Well, Gary, also you have to remember what yesterday was for our friends north of the border. It's literally a few days in between fireworks. Canada Day yesterday, which I will say this in both languages. To our friends north of the border, happy Canada Day and Bon Fête du Canada. And we also have a few days coming up, 2 more days. It's going to be 4th of July, so indeed, it's the night of fireworks. We'll just call it that.
Yeah. So don't go anywhere. We're all going to take a little bit of a break here to take breaks of our own, get a drink, get refreshed, and then we're going to come back and we're going to have a podcast. We're going to talk about the latest in IndyCar news, including the revolving door at McLaren. We're going to talk about hybrids. We're going to talk about the TV contract and anything else that comes to mind. You are able to participate in chat. Just hang out. And if you have a question out of a topic you want to bring up, bring it in and we will discuss it. So we will come back here at about 9:45 to resume the broadcast. But until then, everyone, take a break. And we'll be back here about 1:45 of the hour. But with me here is the same group of guys. It's Stevie, LGN, and Justin. So let's start off with the big news of the day, the revolving door, the merry-go-round, which is known as McLaren. I think McLaren and Dale Coyne are in a race to see who could put the most drivers in their cars this year. They have decided at the end of the season that they are going to part ways with 2016 Indy 500 winner Alexander Rossi, and they're going to put Christian Lundgaard from Rahal Letterman in the car for next year. Bit of an interesting team now that this is starting to form. What do we think about how the team is going to look next year, and where do we think Rossi might go? Because he didn't have the greatest parting at Andretti, and really, I don't think he hasn't really done anything to lose his ride at McLaren, but he hasn't really done anything to keep it either. He's just been kind of there. And that's kind of where he's been in the IndyCar community for a while. Certainly, I think since the aero screens came in, I don't think he's gotten a single win since the aero screen came in. So, Stevie, what do you think of the news of the day? And is it necessarily fair to what happened to Rossi?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm personally. I know Justin's not that big a Rossi fan, but
I'm not either. I'm not either.
Yeah, I liked him, but he has been kind of I don't want to say middling, because he's had good performances and he's been one of the more consistent drivers at Arrow McLaren over these last few years. He's been picking up a lot of pieces that a lot of the other drivers don't really get their hands on. But yeah, this is. But after 2 seasons, I mean, I know like after 2 years, you're supposed to have like a lot of things squared away at this point. But it's going to be interesting to see where Rossi goes here. Maybe they could do a clean swap with Rahal Letterman, perhaps. That's at least one option I could think of. But I could definitely get the reason. I definitely get why they would want to get someone like Christian Lundgaard on. Lundgaard has been making a great name for himself in the IndyCar Series, and he has been like he's been a hot commodity for a little while there. But to me, I feel like one of the drivers that got screwed out of that, for one thing, David Malukas. David Malukas, I still can't believe that Malukas got kicked even before he had the chance to show his stuff to Arrow McLaren there after his incident in the preseason.
His dad needs to own the team. That's how you keep your spot if you hurt your hand. Your dad needs to own the team. Fun
fact: Lance Stroll just resigned with Aston Martin.
Amazing.
I wonder who saw that coming.
One win for Rossi in the aero screen era. He won at Indianapolis at the GP and the fall race, the fall race when it pairs up with NASCAR in 2022. But other than that, I mean, he has done absolutely nothing in the aero screen era. He had 2 wins right before they went to the aero screen at Long Beach and at Road America. But since then, since 2019, he's only had 1 win.
Yeah, and it seems to me like the way I've seen Arrow McLaren, like aside from the looks like the most consistent guy who stuck around for them is Pato O'Ward, and understandably so. Pato's been doing a fantastic job and contending for championships, but it seems to me like Zach Brown and co seem to have the mentality of throw enough at the wall and see what sticks. Yeah. For teaming up with Pato, so it's kind of in a way, kind of the way I've seen with Formula One until recently, because they seem to be happy with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri at the moment in their F1 lineup, but they seem to have that same mentality of throw enough at the wall and see what sticks for the last few years, and it could be what they're doing with their IndyCar program. And I feel like if Lundgaard going to Arrow McLaren, I think that has a good chance of sticking, honestly, because Lundgaard, he's a young driver, he's a young up and coming talent, and he's been proving that he can that he has staying power. That's for sure. And I think he could do a lot of good with a McLaren car underneath him here. I'm just wondering what sort of good it would do for like long-term stability, especially with Rossi kind of being the elder statesman on the team. It's good to have that sort of thought process where you have someone who can be a good support for a lot of guys and maybe even use that veteranosity to their advantage in a lot of cases. I mean, the extreme example of that I think would be Scott Dixon, because I mean, no one's accusing like Dixon, who's been in the sport for over 20 years at this point. No one's accusing him of being washed up at this point.
Well, hear me out. Here's my idea for Rossi. All right, and let me preface this by saying I am not a huge Rossi fan, and in fact, I think I've said this before on our broadcast that if he did not win the 2016 Indy 500, I don't think he would be here right now. I think he backed into a 500 win. Oh my God, I now have to keep coming back to this league. He clearly wanted this as a mid-stop to go into Formula One. He's now too old for Formula One. He's not going to be able to go to Formula One. I don't think he's going to go to Formula One. If he does, it's not going to be for a top-tier team. It's going to be back for a backmarker, and I'm sure that he doesn't want to be a former Indy 500 winner racing for a backmarker team in Formula One. So I think he wants to stay in IndyCar, but I don't think that really he gave IndyCar the respect and the 500 the respect that it really deserves and it gets from other drivers, because I think he's like, this is a mid-stop for me. This is not really that big of a deal for me. I won the 500. Oh my God. I mean, he doesn't even put his baby Borg on display. I mean, it just, a couple things tell me that this really wasn't his endpoint. You can kind of tell with some of these other drivers like Ericsson and like Grosjean, and this is kind of their, if after this there's not much for them to do if they don't succeed here at this level. So hear me out. A good pairing, and it's going to put a driver that some people like on the sidelines, but it puts an American into a high-profile American team and car, and a team and car that is associated with Penske. And I say put Rossi in the 14 and maybe move Ferrucci to Stingray Rob's ride, because, again, Stingray Rob had a great Indy 500. I just don't think he's in the same class of drivers as everyone else. And I think AJ Foyt takes a huge step up in quality of drivers for both cars. And that puts a high-profile American driver in the seat of the 14, which is a big deal. And it gets him cooperation with Penske. And that might be a hidden a power-up that he might be able to take advantage of and do very well at.
I could definitely see that. I'm wondering if Super Tex is having that thought process there, because I definitely agree. Stingray Rob, more than anyone else, has really been showing that he's not quite up to snuff, especially when you compare him to what Ferrucci's been able to do. And for the record, I am not a Ferrucci fan myself, but I can respect him for what he can bring to the table. That's for sure. Like, you've seen what he's been able to do the last couple Indy 500s and last few races this season.
Stingray Rob did. I mean, he legit led laps at Indianapolis. He wasn't he didn't just inherit the lead and let a couple under caution and then he immediately get passed on the restart. He was legit leading laps there at Indianapolis. I think he led like 25, 26 laps. He was among the league lap leaders at Indianapolis. But I don't think anywhere else that he's really in the same caliber of driver. If I can go from him to a Ferrucci and Ferrucci to a Rossi, I would absolutely make that switch if I was AJ.
I think I would too, and because like you get a much higher caliber driver in that second seat, and it boosts your team more than just at Indianapolis. I mean, winning Indianapolis is a massive deal. There's no doubt about that, but for consistently getting points, consistently competing up at the front of the field, and especially when you got Penske Motors to work with there, like AJ Foyt does, that is going to be, and you put him with a talented driver, an experienced driver like Rossi, that I think could be a big game changer for AJ Foyt. And I think we can all agree, seeing AJ Foyt Enterprises win and compete for wins, win races, that's a beautiful thing. It really is.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen AJ win since Sato drove for him at Long Beach. So it's been a while.
I think you might be right there.
Yeah. So what do we think what the McLaren lineup's going to look like for next year? Because next year they lose the Aero sponsorship. They're going to get Pato. Callum Islet was just a couple off races this year, so I don't think he's going to be in the picture. Theo Porcher, I think he's going to be in other teams' pictures. In fact, I probably wouldn't mind seeing Rahal Letterman go after him and try to cultivate a young and up-and-coming driver alongside Graham. But does Nolan Stiegel stay at McLaren? And is that going to be their 3-car squad for the regular season? So the 5, 6, and 7. The 5 is going to be O'Ward, 6 will be Siegel, and the 7 will be Lundgaard.
Yeah, that's going to be a good question. And then with Nolan Siegel, of course, got the chance to run for Dale Coyne earlier in the season, and unfortunately he didn't qualify for Indy. But he had a great run at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. He won the 24 Hours of Le Mans in the LMP2 class. So,
and he raced. He did race for McLaren at Laguna Seca.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to be an interesting thing to look at too. Finished 12th at Laguna Seca, so very good start for a youngster there, Nolan Siegel. I think Siegel is definitely going to be on the radar of a lot of teams long term here.
Well, the kid showed he had huge balls, though. I mean, he knew taking that car out for qualification, he did not have speed, and the only way that he could remotely get that car, that if he just sent it beyond its limits and somehow it held by miracle or crook and hook, and it didn't. He put it into the wall, but he went out there knowing that he just did not have it, and the only way to make an attempt at it is he had to send the car beyond its limits. That's a huge set right there. 230 plus at Indianapolis, to knowingly probably going, I'm going to go up there and smack the wall.
Yeah, and that shows, because a lot of drivers, especially because Siegel's only 19 years old there, that's the age where you're excited to go racing at Indianapolis, but the speedway can be very intimidating. He showed no fear in that instance. And ultimately it didn't work out for him, but he's definitely got he's definitely got some guts on him. So I think a lot of teams will be seeing that and thinking, well, alongside his talent, the guy will go for it. So I think there's going to be he's going to be on the radar of a lot of organizations. I'm just not sure as to who at the moment. We all know Dale Coyne's a big revolving door there. Maybe if you develop Siegel up, there could be some consistency alongside Jack Harvey, obviously. But yeah, it's going to be a good question on. It's obvious that he's going to be looked at quite a bit there. Yeah, and I just wonder who. I wonder if it's going to be, maybe obviously with Rahal Letterman, Lundgaard is leaving there. Wonder about I do wonder in a lot of ways. You got a bunch of teams maybe considering their options here, and it's kind of an interesting position to be in for the IndyCar Series as a whole, where you have this wealth of talent that is knocking on the door of good rides. It's just, will organizations have the cars available for them? Will they have these? Will some organizations expand to a second, third, fourth car, or will they keep things the way they are here? It's going to be an interesting season here, and someone like Nolan Siegel, I'm definitely going to keep an eye on for that. And the silly season starting out already with Lundgaard going to McLaren. That's already a pretty convincing start, I'd say. Yep.
All right, so moving on to the next big thing of the week is this will be the first week with the new hybrid engine combo. So we are going to have a little bit more than push to pass now. We're going to have battery power to help propel ourselves, and we're up back in the neighborhood of 800 horsepower for the first time
like
In
really
ages.
since the kart era, pretty much.
In ages, yes. I can't remember what the original Aurora IndyCar and Infinity IndyCars and the IRL took over, but I don't think they were 800 horsepower. But so
I don't
we're
think
going to
so
be
either.
playing with with power again, one way or another at Mid Ohio coming up. Thoughts on moving to Justin? Are you with us?
Still here, just
Yep.
reading up something in regards to the other series and their schedule.
Okay, well, your thoughts going to Mid Ohio on this, and I know that you're kind of the ambassador, the community ambassador for the IIS, and we've even kind of hinted at it. Maybe how soon we would see hybrid technology getting pushed into the sim for these cars. But your thoughts of hybrids making an appearance now. As part of a regular deal in IndyCar, 800 horsepower is returning, and we might even see an additional level of kind of push to pass return to ovals now.
It's about damn time.
And like just the fact that that's even on the cards, having pushed to pass on ovals, that is showing. That's going to show just like how fascinating this is going to be. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on how like if any sort of growing pains will happen, because it usually happens with any new engine formula. Because this is a radical change here. This is obviously we got this. I believe it's the similar cubic capacity. It's the same 2.2 liter engines, but with a hybrid system bolted onto it. It's going to be fascinating to see who weathers that storm better. And the drivers were already impressed by them, both Chevy and Honda. This is going to be... It's going to be interesting to see like how well they can put the power down here. And especially with because you're going from somewhere along the lines of 600, 700 horsepower to well over 800 there. That can catch out a few people there. And especially with the pretty much insta torque that electric motors are known for, that is going to be a learning curve for a lot of these guys. I would definitely think, especially those that didn't have much time to partake in a lot of the testing activity. I'm going to be fascinated to see what Mid Ohio throws at them, and this is going to be an interesting track to have your first foray into it, being Mid Ohio here. It's going to test your throttle control. It's going to test the braking ability here. That's also another thing to consider, is that you also have regenerative braking systems. So I'm going to be keeping a close tab on this, both for the IndyCar Series IRL and also for the IndyCar Series in the sim here, because these guys are going to be the real life guys are going to be the guinea pigs for us here, and I'm really excited for this. This is going to be the biggest change to the IR18 team.
Let's talk about who might have experience with 800 horsepower Indy cars. Only two come to mind. It's going to be Dixon. It's going to be Will Power. Really? Do you think
Elio, as well as
but Elio's not driving.
Elio is driving.
He's going to drive this week.
Yeah, he's taking over for the rest of the season because
I thought Malukas was going to be in the seat with next to Felix. But okay, so let's go ahead. Let's talk about let's talk about.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Let's talk Graham, Power, and Dixon. Those are the only three that I could think of that have driven something remotely close.
To quote Will Power from a little piece that he did back in 2018 at Long Beach with Oriol Servia, Jimmy Vasser, and the throw from West Hill, the most controversial man in the history of IndyCar racing, Paul Tracy. In that little podcast that they did, he said to Marshall Pruitt, "Damn, those cars were rocket ships."
Yeah, I mean,
and he also said, "I hope one of these days we can actually get back to that kind of horsepower, that kicking your ass feeling." Well, the day has come.
Okay.
Yeah, you got your wish. You definitely got your wish there. Oh man, it's like this is going to be a radical shift here, especially for what we've been used to for the past 6 years at this point with the IR18, and arguably arguably even the last 12 years since the DW12 came about.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be a massive sea change. I could definitely see I could definitely see some drivers. Obviously, your Dixons, your Will Powers of the world, they could adapt to this because they've done it before. It was a long time ago, but still. But I think there can be some drivers out there that can be like, "Ooh, this is quite my style here,"
Yeah.
and I think we could see some names that you may not expect start to come to the fore.
Sure.
And there are those of us in the sim racing world that have previous experience running high horsepower turbocharged cars, albeit on R Factor 1 in both the Champ Car 0506, 2007 mod, as well as, in my opinion, the greatest mod ever in the history of R Factor 1, the Kart Factor 1998 season mod.
Yeah.
That's what, as someone that actually has run those cars before, I know there's a few others that I've run against that still run on iRacing that I've seen pop up here and there in the Indy 500 as well as Indy Oval Fixed, IIS. There are those of us that are like, give us back that horsepower. We want it back. We want it back. We want it back. And we're going to get it back sometime this year. I'm going to say the September build. I'm just making that prediction. September build is when we get the hybrid system on iRacing. And the moment we do, we're probably also going to get the rain. Fingers crossed. And if we do, oh, baby, I'm going to go have some fun.
Yeah.
Well, just get ready for some new terms to be put into the IndyCar lexicon, the ESS and the MGU. So you want to learn up on that, just go to the NTT IndyCar Series Twitter account, and there's a good video hosted there by Hinch that explains how these things work and go together and how they're going to regenerate and everything. So might want to check that out for everybody. Before you go ahead.
They've also got it up on their YouTube.
Okay,
channel.
we'll check YouTube as well, and make sure you check that out before going into this weekend, so you have a leg up on everybody else when it comes time to start talking about this stuff.
Now, to answer a question that you asked earlier in terms of the normally aspirated IRL 9799 engine horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think we all jokingly say that the NASCAR Cup Series now is literally the Indy Racing League in stock car form?
Oh my God!
It was 675 horsepower from 97 to 1999 in the IRL with those 4-liter naturally aspirated Oldsmobile Aurora and these the engines.
Yep.
But
and
there was there was also a tad bit more higher RPM limit with 10K 5 RPM compared to, I think it's like 9.5K RPM for the Cup Series.
Yeah. So the power output was 650 to 700 horsepower. So, but they were very quick or very slow to react because
in the words of John Oriovics, they were also the hearing killers because of how loud they were.
So we got a couple of they just sounded like cup cars to me when I am going to the speedway. But a couple minutes here before we get off to the second of our two doubleheader here, two doubleheader race at Talladega. 168 people now 173 people have registered compared to 23 at Trucks Class C fixed at Mid-Ohio. So normally it's the other way around. This week we are doing the dominating, and I like seeing that number. Real quick, let's talk about TV time. TV time is going to pick up a lot next year. Unfortunately, we're kind of going to get screwed by NBC for the remainder of the year. Obviously, we did not get preferential treatment at Laguna Seca. We got put on CNBC, or supposedly we were going to be sent to CNBC, and never happened. Then we were supposed to go to USA. I don't think that ever happened. And I think we just pretty much got stuck to Peacock. So we're going to get the shaft from NBC for the rest of the year. But next year, I think things are going to open up. As much as I don't want it to be Fox, it is going to be Fox, and Fox is really going to open up doors in terms of number of households that Fox is in versus number of households that say, oh, the USA Network is in.
Yeah, exactly. And having it on network TV, that's going to be a big leg up for certain here. And I know a lot of people were worried when Fox was announced, was that, oh, great, you're going to have the crappy camera work. You're going to have like sloppy broadcasting in a
Stupid
lot of ways.
gopher, yeah.
It's been true, and that's been happening on the NASCAR side of things. I think one positive I've seen is that the camera work will be coming from the IMS itself.
Yes.
Here. So,
Yes, the broadcasting, the broadcasting talent, the camera, everything is coming over via IMS Productions. They are the one that run the show.
And they did
Fox.
everything for Versus, right?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
They did it for ESPN. They did it for Versus, NBC Sports Network, NBCSN.
Yeah, and that's the in-house. So it used to be known as Telex. They goes by different names now. I used to know them as Telex back in the 80s and 90s. But that's going to be good because at least they'll be familiar with the looks and feel of what the fans like. But I think next year we don't know what we're going to have for online and streaming yet. That's still to be announced. We don't really even know what the amount is. We don't know how much the teams are going to get out of this, how much the league's going to get out of it. We know that the league needs some new money. We know that the league needs to start developing some new cars and getting some new manufacturers involved, and that involves having the money. So we shall see this new influx of money, how it impacts the league going forward. But I would imagine that the sponsors, and it's also at the NXT level, because they're going to be on Fox Sports 1. Right now, they're Peacock only. They'll be at least on Fox Sports 1 or Fox Sports 2. I mean, they're way more homes on those two channels than Peacock are subscriptions. They're going to be happy. They can get real sponsors, and companies are going to willing to invest in the league more and invest in teams more, knowing that there's going to be more eyes watching the product.
Now, if I remember correctly, the deal was for NASCAR in terms of Fox, it was $50 million a year with like $25 million of that going to the Coca-Cola 600. With the loss of the Coca-Cola 600 to Fox and it going over to the Indy 500 with Prime taking over for the Coke 600 broadcast, I'm going to venture and say probably between 10 to maybe even 20 million for the 500 for that broadcast. My guess, maybe even the whole season. I don't know.
All right. Well, we are getting close to getting splits for the next race.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What about the commentators and all these things? Is it going to be the same people or is it going to be different people?
We don't know yet.
We don't know
they
yet.
have not announced it.
I just hope it's not. Is it Adam Alexander they've been talking about possibly on Fox? And he doesn't strike me as an IndyCar voice or guy. I hope they
even though he's had IndyCar experience,
I know,
albeit with IMS radio. No.
I know, but I just when I hear him talk, I hear NASCAR, and that's the same thing. I don't want Mike Joy because when I hear his mouth open, I hear NASCAR, and I've heard Mike Joy call IndyCar races before when CBS carried a couple IRL races back in the early IRL days. But I hope that they at least bring back T-Bell. I know a lot of people want to bring back Hinch. I'm indifferent with Hinch, but I do like T-Bell. I miss Paul Tracy. I wish they would bring him back. He was, if anything, controversial and funny. But bring back the same people in the pits. Bring back Jan. He would be good to see again. Maybe somehow if you can get Paul Page involved, even though I know he's kind of on the retired side. I just don't want us to have a NASCAR soundtrack to IndyCar action, if you know what I mean. And we do have a split. We're going to have 24 cars in this next race. Split number 935 for everybody. It's playing around at home.
Yep. Loading on in.
And I see Chase Capri is also going to be in this one as well.
How fun.
And we'll get you a strength of field number here very shortly.
4298.
4298. So down 500 points.
Oh.
Almost exactly 500 points. Yep. It was a 47.97 in race 1, 4-2. 9.8 for race 2. All right, we'll get you some, a lot of names we haven't talked about here. Chris Frost, Pittman, Bicorn, but we're going to see Jacob Collins again. We're going to see Oster again. Trost is going to be in this one, but a lot of names we don't. Malechka's going to be in this one. Stephen Lee again. Trace is going to be there. Ty's going to be back. Mitch David. Stand by, everybody at home. We're getting ready to load in here, and we'll cut right to. Actually, I can read the rest while we wait for practice and qualifying to kind of wrap up here. I can read the rest of my IndyCar, NASCAR, or IndyCar Talladega tidbits of information as we'll go ahead and load in now. Yeah, there we go. That's how it is, folks. A lot of it's the early parts of the race when we load in. All that part when you're waiting, you see the streaming soon. This is what we're waiting. We're waiting stuff to load in so we can actually show you stuff on camera here. There we go.
Congrats, folks. You're learning how the sausage is made.
Right. So let's bring up the header here so we can see how much time we have left. 4:04, and I need to actually type some stuff in here.
Welcome to the behind the scenes of P1 Broadcasting. We know what Indy means.
And this is the... There we go. 3:38 here left to play, and we're watching cars going, and we'll try to get a fastest lap here. Anyways, as I was mentioning during the race there. So a lot of the information I got about open wheelers at Talladega is from NASCAR Man on Twitter. So as you all know by now, Talladega is, of course, is where the 200-mile-per-hour barrier officially fell for the modern era of racing. And we're pretty much considering that in the 1970s there in NASCAR. Buddy Baker turned a lap of 200.447 miles per hour here in March of 70 to establish the mark. By comparison, the first 200-mile-per-hour lap to be achieved at Indianapolis was not set until 1977 when Tom Sneva turned a lap of 200.537 miles per hour and 7 years later. So by comparison, the Indy cars, they had to really slow the Indy cars down because really by 73, they were prepared to go 200 miles per hour in Indianapolis, but they really slowed them down and really retarded their speed for about 4 to 5 years before they finally broke through that barrier. The official NASCAR Cup Series qualifying track record at Talladega is set, of course, by Bill Elliott in 87 with a speed of 212.8. There was Team Penske came back here with Rusty Wallace, and in 2004 turned an unrestricted lap of 216.3 to up the record, but unofficially, albeit unofficially. For open wheelers, though, A.J. Foyt set a world closed course record here in August of 74 with his trademarked Gilmore Orange Coyote IndyCar at the speed of 217.854. Okay, set that in 1974, guys. 217.8. Wow. That could, I mean, that's like doing 230 or 240. And maybe 250 in our world now. This would be the same open wheel record until Rick Mears beat it at Michigan in 86. So it took 12 years for the record just to fall, and it was Rick Mears did that. For Foyt, this is the same car he sat on the pole at Indianapolis the previous May with the best lap of 192.555 miles per hour. So at Talladega, unrestricted, everything that he needed to do to go fast, 217.8. At Indianapolis, restricted and everything, 192.5. So that's an incredible 25 miles per hour difference between his lap at Talladega and his pole run at Indianapolis. Now, it should note, I said this before, the Indy lap could have been faster, and the 200 mile per hour could have fallen sooner at Indy if it were not for rule changes in the name of safety for the 74 race. Because remember, that 73 race was a bad race in terms of just everything. We had casualties, we had horrible weather. It's just one of those races that everyone really wants to forget about. Unfortunately, Gordon Johncock, somebody has to win that race. He won that race. So due to the incidents a year before, speeds were curbed in 74 with less downforce and pop-off valves to control turbocharger boost. By comparison, in 73, Johnny Rutherford sat on the pole with the best lap of 199.071 miles per hour. So it's plausible that the 200 mile per hour pair, very plausible, would have fallen in 1974 if they did not enact all of those safety features. So we're getting ready to go racing again, and look who is on the pole.
Well, looky here. It's our old friend Trey Shadid on the pole again. Very
Would you like to know the speed that he hit for that first lap?
Go ahead.
245.54 miles an hour.
Ooh, boy, we are fast.
And for the rest of the world, in kilometers per hour, 395.16.
So close to 400 clicks there. That is amazingly fast.
Now I understand the kilometers. I got you.
Yeah, 400 kph is 248 miles an hour. That is amazingly fast. Like, that is something that it would take a Bugatti Veyron multiple miles on the Aerolesson test track in Germany to get up to that speed. And, like, obviously it couldn't take a corner all that well. The Veyron never could. But anyways,
bring about the desert here on Blue Diamond Road between Pahrump, Nevada and Las Vegas. They do it a number of times.
True.
Well, let's get these starting lineup in as we're lining up. Go right ahead. Stephen Larkamp.
And on the pole, once again, 2 for 2, Trey Shadid. He will likely start from pit road, though. That is usually his calling card here. But alongside him, theoretically on the front row, Chase Cabry in the number 5. Very fast run. Tied with the same time, I should note. In third place is Brandon Trost in the number 9, coming back for vengeance from last time. Mitch David in the 14 also wants a bit of comeuppance here. Starting 4th here tonight, what can he do? Stephen Lee, very fast all night long last time out. He will start 5th. Alongside Justin Nanke in the 18, starting 6th. Alex Monteferrante, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, will start his number 10 machine in 7th, alongside Chris Frost the 17.
Anna Hendricks in a Larson livery.
Yep, take a drink there. So we got one Larson livery already. Brian Fulchetti will be starting 9th in the 24 machine. Alongside him, Casey Pahutsky in the 20 machine. That's the top 10 and the only drivers that posted qualifying times.
Yeah, Pahutsky is going to be starting from pit road. So continue.
Yep, and just as we probably expected here. We've actually had to disconnect. Adriano for 40 is actually disconnected. I'm probably about to get to him. Brian White will be starting 11th at the number 3 alongside Ty Quilla, who was also really fast last time out. Matt Pawelski in the number 7 starts 13th alongside Brian Campbell's number 8 in 14th. Jeff Drake will be starting 15th in the 11 alongside Jacob Collins in the 12 and 16th. TJ Mashaw in the 15 car starts off 17th alongside Rob Pedersen in the 16. And Derek Bacorn, I almost said bacon there, honestly.
I'm sure he's had that before.
That actually does sound good right now, not gonna lie.
It does, doesn't it? But Derek Bacorn will be starting the 19 car in 19th alongside Damian Pittman's number 21. That's your top 20. Andrew Scheimer in the 22 machine starts 21st, alongside Sean Signor in the 23 in 22nd place. And the final row of the grid, look who it is. Robert Malechka III and Jacob Oster, car numbers 1 and 2. They pretty much opted out of their qualifying runs immediately. That's why they're starting from the back here. And as Tracy did, is sitting on pit road right now. This is going to be another fascinating run at Talladega.
David, and Lee are all sitting on pit road. At least those are the three that I see. I think there's another one also on pit road. Pahutsky is also on pit road. So we know Pahutsky from the Dark Horse DW12 series. All right.
Pace car peeling off. We got 50 more laps of these shenanigans to deal with. And Brandon Trost will be starting off from the pole, and hopefully for him, a bit less drama than there was last time, but I expect a lot more of it this time around, even more. Green flag flies. We are racing again to take a look at the launch on the high side there. That's Justin Nanke in the 18 to the race lead already. Oh, what a launch there. Caught everyone napping into turn number 1. That was totally legit, too.
Chase Cabry did not get a good start there. He hiccuped a bit, but he recovered quickly. And look at this. Here comes that Kyle Larson scheme that we're all calling the Red Bull of IndyCar. He's going up to the front now.
Car on the back straight. Yeah.
Problems on the back straightaway. Yes, we have a few of them. Sean Signor is around, and one car on his roof as well.
Oh, there is.
Caution is out. That was Derek Bacron, actually, on his lid.
And the car 23, too.
He launched off.
Yeah, that was probably the only way that was ever going to happen there. And that was contact. The 23 comes... That was the 23 of Sean Signor.
Oh, wow. He did it. Signor just... he just cut down in front of Bacorn. I don't even think he was clear in the yellow submarine there, and he just clips him and flips him.
Yep, just flips over the Hello Kitty car, and everybody does not seem to be too happy about that one. That was definitely a sketchy move on the first lap here, but it brings out an early caution. Justin Nanke, the race leader.
He just goes down. He just goes, whoa, and it's not clear. That's kind of reckless. You need to kind of hold your line and get settled in here in their opening laps. It's not like you're in the draft. You're not going to lose it. Just hold your line, do your thing, and I don't understand that move.
Guys, I hate to say it, but he reacted to what Peterson was doing up in front of him. Peterson moved down and cut him off.
Rob Peterson. Okay, let's go back and watch that one here.
R16.
Yeah.
And 16.
That was nothing more than a reactionary move.
Well, let's watch Peterson here.
Having a look at Peterson. Runs up on the high line out of the corner. Oh, yeah, like little bit of a choppy move came down below that dotted line there.
Yeah.
And I think the 23 just went into panic mode.
I think it's again just let off and kind of roll out of it, and I don't know. I think again too early to be racing that hard. You're in the draft, hold your line, just pick your spots and get situated, and then go racing.
Oh, and I hate to say it, Stevie.
Yep.
The Bacorn scheme was a Hello Kitty scheme. Hello Kitty did not last the entire race.
Yeah.
Well, goodbye, Kitty.
Goodbye, Kitty. And I say that I'm low-key expecting my cat to walk in, but I have the door shut. And he's probably pawing at the door.
Meow, meow.
You're not far off, honestly.
And so we got who's playing games with the pace car?
That's Nanke, the race leader.
Okay, Nanke, and then Frost. Monteferranti, hopefully saying that right, is third. Folchetti is fourth. Cabre is 5th. So a lot of names we're not familiar with, and I think we're going to see a lot of the same thing that we saw from the first race. A lot of those names that we're not familiar with, they're going to go right to the front, and I think the names that we're more familiar with, your Trost, we got Pawlowski here, Oster, Shadid. Shadid starts from pit road. Is already in 10th spot. Mitch David, same thing. Stephen Lee, same thing. Pahutsky, Campbell, Collins, and then also we got Quilla and Malechka in the back. I think these guys are just going to hang out in the back and allow these kind of top split ringers to kind of lead the way in the first 25 laps. And then they're going to really, if we don't get any more cautions, then we're going to start seeing these regular IndyCar regulars, after their pit stops, start storming to the front.
Yeah, that's pretty much the game plan I saw that they had in mind in the last race here, as a lot of drivers now actually come down pit road. So we got quite a lot of them, and leading them down is Brandon Trost.
Yeah.
So everyone coasting into their boxes here, very slippery on the concrete. We saw a few drivers overshoot their boxes in the last race. Everyone seems to be getting it down smoothly, and away they go. So it looks like it was just topping off the fuel, at least for Trost, which makes complete sense. We're only working lap number 3. You don't need to worry about tires all that much.
No, and in fact, they probably don't need to change tires at all. Looking at the track temperature, it's 112. Ambient temperature is 80. Humidity is kind of up there. It's at 70%. But if it really wasn't for the time it takes to fill these tanks, when they do hit pit road, they will need to get that. They might as well throw on new tires in that time frame anyways. But they're not saving any time if they go fuel only for a particular stop, because unlike, maybe with the next gen, but unlike, let's say, Xfinity cars, which have 5 lug nuts, again, this is a single impact lug on these cars, and they can replace all 4 tires in less than 4 seconds. Or in less than 5 seconds.
Yeah, you can really put them on very quickly. It's not quite Formula One fast where you have 3 guys on each wheel.
Because they have 80 men over the wall in Formula One.
It's like 16 guys over the wall there.
What was it Larry McReynolds said at the trade and paint seat swap with Jeff Gordon and Juan Montoya? It's like a family reunion there.
I'm just looking at all the stuff going on in chat here. They're just spamming a bunch of stuff and talking about disdain towards deep dish pizza. Like, I know there's a lot of controversy that, hey, like, some say deep dish is not a pizza. I don't care. Deep dish is delicious.
Agreed.
Yep. And also stuff about Emerson Fittipaldi. And one thing that I know of, because it's from my neck of the woods, the once watch the tram car, please. If you're from my neck of the woods around Philadelphia and you go to the Jersey Shore for vacation, you know where that's from. Whoa, contact there already before they even got to the green.
Again, I think that
on the restart.
I think that has a lot of inexperience right there. And now we have the Larson car going to the front.
Chase Cabry with the contact there on the back of Brian Falchetti, but Chris Frost taking advantage right away. Gets himself up into that race lead. Lap number 5. Is Nanke going to tuck in the draft here, or is he going to go for it again? Look who is going for it. It's Brian Falchetti in that 24 machine.
Yeah, he's in that Delaware Life car that Ericsson drives that he wrecked at Indy.
Yeah, the Andretti Autosport livery gets up to the lead now, and Chris Frost tucking in behind. Let's see how we
look at the high side. Here comes Stephen Lee as well.
Our old friend Stephen Lee is back.
Oh, 3 wide for the lead.
To fighting for the lead already, going into turn number 3. And can he clear it? Not quite enough just yet. Still holding it 3 abreast coming off of turn number 4. Lee way up on that high line there. Looks like he'll tuck in behind everyone else here, and I guess kind of backing off at the moment. I mean, it's still early days, obviously. We're only working laps 7 to 50 here.
if there's one way to kill a huge momentum run, just go straight to the front and then hit that brick wall of air and just let it take you to the back.
Oh, yeah. And we've seen it happen multiple times in the last race, and we've seen it a couple of times so far tonight. As Lee is dropping way, way, way back at this point.
Right now, still a battle for second place that's going on with the Kyle Larson scheme, as we're just going to call it for Chris Frost, as well as that is Chris Frost with Nanki on the inside. They're still Nanki, don't do that.
Apron bad.
Very bad here, especially for Justin Nanki. Saves it there in that Carvana Jimmy Johnson livery. Still running right up on the gearbox of Fulchetti into 3. Not quite to the extent we saw last time out, where they were pretty much bump drafting each other.
Did JJ run that livery?
Yep,
yes, he did.
What I can't remember what race he ran that at. I know it's a Carvana, and I know that was a sponsor. I just don't remember the black livery, but I have seen guys use it before.
I think
it was one of the Iowa races in 22.
All right.
Or I think it was 2021 on one of the Rotor Street Circuit events. I literally would have to go back and look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to the action at hand.
Indeed, as Frost is still hanging it tough up on that high side, but he's got no one to work with up there, and plus it's very hard to make that high line work by yourself, obviously, as everyone's starting to get themselves into a semblance of order, it would seem.
Yeah, he was making it work up there for now. He might be able to slot in behind Nanki here, and yes, he does. He moves down below and gets into the Caterpillar train, as we call it.
Yeah, getting themselves into the train on the low side here. And it's going about as fast as any bullet train you're likely to ride.
Yeah. So I at least found online he at least tested in that livery at Sebring.
Yep. And I'm also keeping an eye further back in the field here. Not surprised at all here, but moving up to the field after starting from pit lane, Trace did.
Yeah, speaking of another Jimmy Johnson scheme, here comes the primary scheme that he ran in 2021. Damian Pittman going to the high side here on everybody to go to the lead. Essentially, he wants to go for the lead, but right about here is where he's
going to stall out.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, he gets the ball, but he is clear there. But there's some, again, depending on how familiar you are with the car, there are tricks that you can do with the weight jacker to help make yourself a little bit faster at key points on the racetrack. And if you're not sure how to use that, then maybe you don't find yourself getting clear in those key moments. But he got a good run. But I would imagine it's not a tightly held. Oh, I saw that too. Not a tightly held secret, but it's a secret that a lot of these IndyCar regulars don't really want to share.
Yeah, exactly.
You also have to remember you can play around with the front rear ARB anti-roll bar as well. And if you're not quite familiar with the weight jacker and the front rear ARB, I know you don't really like him at the best of times, but he did put out one of the best basic beginner's guide to IndyCar on iRacing. Brendan Lichtenberg, go look it up on YouTube on Team I5G on that YouTube channel, and it will be there. A basic beginner's guide to IndyCar on iRacing, and it'll run through the detail. It's almost an hour and a half long.
And Signori is following through Rob Peterson again. They are together on that high line on the backstretch. And apparently, whatever happened on that opening lap between the two, at least they seem to be working together here on the high side in turns 3 and 4 on lap 13. Now they're back in line as a Brazilian clear right in front of Mitch David.
Oh, boy. And, yeah, there's a bit of some choppy moves already here, but for the most part, it seems to be a bit tamer than it was in the previous race. It seems like a lot of these guys are they're showing the track a lot of respect here, I think. They're showing the circumstance a lot of respect, and they're, like, realizing that, hey, like, you can make moves for sure, but It's not worth it this early on in the going, but you can definitely make them later on in this race.
All right, pop quiz, guys. Name me all the IndyCar drivers who have driven the Yellow Submarine.
Rick Mears, Elio Castroneves, Scott McLaughlin,
Yes,
Johnny
and yes.
Rutherford.
Yes.
and Johnny Rutherford as well.
Yes. Keep going.
I
Let's
could have
see.
sworn that was it.
No.
Scott Goodyear, no?
Huh?
Scott Goodyear or no?
Yes,
No,
Scott
Jill-
Goodyear
no.
did. Scott Goodyear did.
Jill DeFerrin as well.
Jill DeFerrin did. John Andretti
Oh, yeah.
got his lone win in that.
That was in 1981
How about-
at Surface Paradise.
How about Sam Hornish?
Oh,
How about these are the two lost names.
It's more than just when Penske did it then.
Teo Fabi
Oh, yeah, Teo Fabi, you're right.
Yeah.
drove it for a season. Okay, here's the one that everyone forgets. Al Unser Sr. in 1979 before Johnny Rutherford.
Ah, yeah, I think I do remember seeing that.
what about Roberto Guerrero? It's not yellow, but
He did drive a Pennzoil primary sponsored car in the '96 Indy 500, but the way the livery was, it kind of reminded me of the Marlboro livery, but in yellow.
Yellow and white.
yes.
Yellow and white.
And Thomas Schechner also drove a Pennzoil sponsored car, but it was silver.
I thought it was also yellow because I do have the diecast of that up in my closet.
It's possible that maybe he did have the yellow car, but I know he definitely 100%
He
drove
did.
the silver car. And then also
he
Guerrero
did.
did drive the full yellow car in '97 when the IRL had their new chassis and new engine combination. But yeah,
Didn't Scheckter drive the Yellow Submarine in 04 when he went to Panther?
Yes.
that's who it would have been with because they had the Pennzoil sponsorship at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the history of the Yellow Submarine. If in case anyone was interested.
I thought we were just going off of the Penske drivers.
No,
Yeah, that's
the history, and everyone forgets it was Teo Fabi. So Hall Racing had the Pennzoil sponsorship for the longest time, and then eventually it went to Pagan Racing for a little bit, and then it went to Panther Racing, and then eventually it went back to Penske. Everyone seems to be minding their P's and Q's right now. Allowed us to do that little bit of a trivia question for IndyCar history. Pittman, your leader, Fulchetti, Nanke, Frost, Monferranti, your top five, Cabri, Trost. Frost is fourth, not Trost. Trost is seventh. Quilla, Mishaw, Peterson, your top 10. Peterson involved in that first lap one incident as well as Senor, and they are both in 10th and 11th. So everybody's still on the racetrack of the 24 that started, with the exception of Derek Bacorn. He is the Hello Kitty car went goodbye Kitty, and he is currently classified in 24th. Casey Pahutsky is currently in 23rd, but in the lead draft, everyone just biding their time, coming up the pit stops here, probably in the earliest instance in about 5 laps from now.
Yeah.
Everybody minded their P's and Q's. Look at Ty Quilla there up on the high side.
Yeah,
He's got
look who's coming with them, Brian Campbell, and they are teammates.
Yeah, these guys taking their chances right when we're getting close and close to the pit stop cycle here. So they're making a bid for track position to maybe get a leg up on everyone else here. But once again, they may be teammates. They work well together, obviously, but it's going to be an interesting question of can they overcome that wall of air that they have to deal with here working together here. And it looks like they're making good on it.
And are they going to swap draft here?
They're
Maybe?
swapping them.
Yes, they are.
And that puts Campbell,
Campbell to the lead.
the crewman for Dale Coyne Racing, to the lead.
Very nicely done. Well executed, I must say, for both Quilla and Campbell. It's not often you see an elegant move like that, but it worked really well. And now Quilla's getting help here from Justin Nanke up on that high line. And looks like going to get some momentum as well over Campbell, and he does take the lead. Whoa!
Yeah. Oof.
Nanke almost Brazilian clears him as tucks in line here, and I know Nanke didn't want to lose any track position on that front, but moved Ty Quilla from 12th on the grid up to the race lead so far.
Pittman with a 2:48 lap earlier in the race. Peterson with a 2:45 lap. Senor 2:45 lap. Oster with a 2:42. White with a 2:43. Molechka with a 2:42. Drake with a 2:42. No 250s yet, but there'll be people aiming for one here if they get a big run in the draft. As Frost trying to keep her straight, and the bankings of turns 3 and 4.
Here's where the tandem draft swap comes into play, because there's Stephen Lee up on the high side with Fulchetti as well. So it's going to be interesting to see if Fulchetti can... Oh, that's a little bit too close. They're going through turn 2. See if Fulchetti can possibly make
Quilla's definitely on the low line.
Quilla's dropping back. I think he's getting ready to pit.
Interesting move there. Ty Quilla moving down and out of this lead.
No, but he kind of ended up in front of, and I think Campbell's trying to come back to join him. And whoa, there it is, and that's exactly what was happening. It happened in front of Tross. I'm not sure how Tross felt about that, but he's still in line. They're still single file all the way up, with the exception of Mitch David now, who's moving on the outside now to turns 1 and 2, trying to catch up to Stephen Lee, who is now our leader.
And now Lee is... Yep. And so Lee is coming under pressure here. That's... It's Mitch David now moving back into second position here. He had a good run going, and Mitch is definitely going to be looking for some redemption after the last race. And here they come on the pit road, and I see behind them, that's Trey Shadid coming in as well.
Jacob Collins, as well as Casey Patuski.
Pahutsky.
The lettering is so small, it's like great. I think I need glasses now with how old I'm getting.
Whoa, as I'm looking back at this lead battle here, we're still getting chippy here as we're getting closer and closer to people coming into pit. I think Jacob Collins is signaling that he's going to come in this time.
Hey, Jacob Collins is in.
Yeah, Collins. Yep, more coming in as Pedersen and Senor. Oh, big lockup on the brakes there for Rob Pedersen. That was very, very close stuff.
And two guys that kind of in that first lap incident, looks like they're going to work together on this one.
Yeah, it's like straight. Whoa. Was Ty Quilla's all the way down on the apron here. Bunch of cars that came off of pit road starting to join into the fray here. Let's see who comes in next.
Husky almost kept on the page of the field.
Oh my goodness.
You don't want that in here, especially in an Indy car.
Yeah, like that was already bad enough in the stock car sense. It'd probably be just as bad here. As caution is out.
Oh, it's on the back. Oh, Stephen Lee.
Senor.
Stephen Lee in trouble.
John Senor spun coming off of pit road. He clipped the apron on the bottom and got run over and up and over.
Oh, and Stephen Lee kind of and Trey Shadid, the race 1 winner, was involved in that one. And Senor is in that one. Stephen Lee's in that one. And I thought there was a third car involved there.
That was not Trey Shadid. That was Mitch David that was involved.
Mitch David? Okay.
He was too high on the apron.
So we'll see what happens. We got Senors coming off of pit road, cool tires, trying to bring it up to speed as quickly as quick. We talked about this. This is tricky. You can use a little bit of the banking to help you, and that's what he's doing. But he must have got a little too loose here. Let's see. Yeah.
And correction. Yes, Trace Shadid was involved.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Stephen Lee. He did not hit Stephen Lee. He hit Pahutsky.
Yeah. No, it should hit Signori.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
senor.
the right back wheel is gone.
All right, let's do a bit of a reset. But before we do, hey, I want to thank everyone for joining us for this race 2 of this Talladega doubleheader week that we have here on ERN. Of course, you are watching the Tuesday night IndyCar Oval Series top split with P1 Broadcasting here. This is all on ERN. Thanks for joining us. Make sure, if you have not done so already, subscribe to ERN and make sure to ring the bell so you don't miss out on the next race. And while you're here, if you enjoy this IndyCar action, the ERL on ERN, the Elite Racing League on the Elite Racing Network, does have a Warriors for Peace IndyCar Series that will be kicking off August 1st at Homestead Miami Speedway. They are full-length races. They run Thursday nights, and there's a small entry fee. But if you'd like to be a part of that field, make sure when you join the Discord, the link is in the description. You can sign up there and sign up to be a part of their Warriors for Peace IndyCar Series. That will run pretty much from August to the end of the year. So you want to check that out if you like what you see here. Also, if you like what you see here and just simply want to join in on the action, make sure you have yourself a good enough high rating and an iRacing subscription and the IR18, and you too can get your iRating high enough. You can be in the top split as well, and that's kind of what we're watching tonight. Is some of these guys that don't make regular appearances here on the top split. Is this kind of a bit of a meme week, as we call it here, as IndyCar is at Talladega, where we see a lot of the ringers make the appearance versus the IndyCar regulars that we see on a weekly basis here for this series. So thanks for joining us. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We appreciate you being here with us for the second race of the doubleheader. Monteferranti is your leader. Tross is second. Cabra is third. Now, Cabra, is second. Tross is now third. Nanke fourth. Folchetti is fifth. That is your top 5. We are under caution for the second time today at lap 29.
Is everyone starting to get themselves back into order after the pit stops? It'll be interesting. This will once again be a fascinating second half of this race, and I think it's going to start getting to the point slowly and slowly. A lot of these guys are going to get more and more aggressive, and the radio chatter is not ceasing either. And it's quite strange, I must say.
And I recognize the voice they're doing, and I think we just found a long-standing mystery of ours from week 13, almost 8 years ago.
I know which one you're talking about.
Who is it? Who is it?
It's a long story.
Let me put the camera on him. Who is it?
I think it's multiple.
Okay, who? Give me car numbers.
I think it's Powelski, Oster, and a few others that are doing a very familiar meme name that me and Stevie remember from years ago. And Jeff Drake as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like it's harkening. It's just like being obnoxious to each other, and they were, and like this goes back to like a long time ago. And I'm not sure any of you would get it, but there was a time where we all love Week 13, don't we? Week 13, for those who don't know, is when iRacing season ends. And for a week, you get the new updates to the service, you get new cars, you get new tracks, you get to try them out, and you have a lot of fun races, and some races where you can get safety rating for like maximum finishing off your next license level, all that stuff. And back in the days when the street stocks and legends cars were we, like, just for the fun of it, a lot of us would watch the very bottom split of those street stock and legends races, and we would just have a good old laugh the whole time because there was always chaos, and there was usually someone, typically a good driver. They never really said much, but it was typically a pretty good driver, but they deliberately did some trolling there as well. And they did their level best to avoid.
Is this the start of Arca Break Weekly? Then that's kind of what spawned that. The genesis of that.
No.
Okay. Well, real quick. Speaking of Week 13, I did find out, and I got the camera on our the Indy Fix Series community representative, community manager, Robert Malechka. There will be a Week 13 for Season 4, and we will be going to the iRacing Super Speedway to determine the Season 4 of 2024 IndyCar Oval Series champion. Getting ready to go green.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy, yep, getting ready to go green. And look where Trost is. He's in a very defensive, I think in an offensive position there, as now he is kind of in the no man's land where he's in the draft, but he's barely in the draft.
Barely at this point, but I expect that to change as Alex Monteferrante leads this race as Chase Cabri gets a monster run on him, and Monteferrante just let him go there. That's probably a wise move there because Cabri was not letting up. And Trost pretty quickly catches right out of the back. Look at the run he's got.
Trost is going to take that center spot. He's going to take that center spot. That's what I expected. If I saw that middle open up, Trost was going to take it, and he brute forced his way in. Here comes Monteferrante on the bottom.
And Namke gets a good run, too.
Namke on the bottom there.
Yeah, Justin Namke on the low side of Monteferrante in the Alex Palou livery, side by side through 1 and 2. And here comes Fulchetti and everybody else starting to catch right back up to them. That draft really helps them out.
TJ Mashaw and the rowdy car on the outside to the front.
Wow.
Well, here comes that Kyle Larson scheme.
Yeah, that's Chris Frost. Fell back to 8th place once again, and now kind of losing momentum at the moment here, but still within earshot of all these guys here. This ain't over.
Back to the front. And now we have Nanke. That is Nanke at the top of Trost there. He's trying to get it over Mashaw right behind Trost. Also in this battle, Mitch David. Here comes one of that. The back is that for Cabri? Okay. Again, new names, new liveries. We're not used to all these. Here's Ty Quilla. We know that one.
Chase Cabri was voicing his displeasure, though, with the little tactics that Brandon Trost
I figured he would be.
was doing.
Yeah, I can definitely see that from Capri's perspective, but it worked out for Trost. Currently leading over Nanke and getting squeezed in the middle, actually, is Justin Nanke, as Ty Quilla getting a good run there, but now he's once again hit that wall here, and here comes Nanke up to the high line.
Mitch David going to shoot the middle.
Momentum.
Still 3 wide as they go through 3 and 4 here. It's popping off on how many times we can go 3 wide here. It was the first row, the second row. Now it's down to the third row. Can it go back? No.
Not quite enough there, but now Mitch David up on that high side. Very close to the line that time. 6/1000ths of a second, no less. Trost over David.
Mitch David had a rough first race. He got caught out where he was trying to get his lap back by a car that stayed out. Here comes Brian Campbell on the high side. Big run down the backstretch, going 3 wide in the 3. Trost, David, Campbell. Here we go.
Brick wall of air for Brian Campbell. I think he's killing the momentum run that he had there. As you'll see it here at Talladega in the IndyCar. You won't see it at Atlanta. But you'll somewhat see it at Daytona, but there's a little bit less room at Daytona compared to here at Talladega.
He was going to say about Mitch David there. He had himself where he's going to try to get his lap back. Couldn't get his lap back. Not very happy about that. Was involved in a incident right on the first lap where he got the black flag. Here comes Ty Quilla doing the exact same thing that his teammate did, except this time Ty Quilla keeps the foot in it, and he actually has the momentum, and he could clear himself if he wanted to on the high side in 3 and 4, but Mitch David trying to redeem himself in this second race of the doubleheader.
Yeah,
Not gonna be
enough. Go ahead.
I was going to say that it wasn't enough.
Yeah, it wasn't quite enough there for Ty Quilla. And now dropping back once again to try and get a run or maybe just coast for the time being. You still got a fair amount of time left there. We're working lap number 37 at this stage. And with we only have we have like 14 laps to go at this stage of the game here. It's still an eternity. It's the whole length of a Carb Cup race here.
Quilla with the purple lap.
And somehow Rob Peterson has installed a car horn on his car and honked the horn.
And yeah, Quilla's actually cracked the top 250 mark, 250.6 for the fastest lap of the race. And now we're 3 wide down the backstretch.
See, this is a meme week. We mean it's a meme week when it comes to the car.
Yeah, this is the memery that we all expect to see. I mean, the first race was chaos. It was just straight up chaos in a lot of regards. And this is turning into good old-fashioned fun at 240 plus miles an hour at Talladega. And I don't think I'd have it any other way.
Who is that on the high side there?
Well, that is Stingray Rob. That's Benjamin White, I think. That's Benjamin White, and he decided to. Oh, and he Brazilian clears himself.
Very close stop there for Benjamin White. The number 3 gets himself into this situation. That's kind of the beauty of it. A driver that you may never have expected suddenly is like, "Hello, I'm here fighting for the win."
Hey, guys, look at this. Here comes the rest of the field.
Yep. It's that time. We're now 10 laps to go.
Oh, yeah. We're going to go 4. We're going to go 4 for the lead.
Look at this. 4-1 for the race
and
lead.
Look who did it. Robert Malechka. There's contact.
No.
Here we go. One car.
Everyone checking up, trying to avoid the carnage here. A few of them do get away with it, but Brandon Trost with 1 wing there. Mitch David is out. Rear
Benjamin
suspension is destroyed. Did someone just play the Microsoft error?
Yes, that was Ron Peterson again.
Dude.
He's on a board there, and I love it.
Look at Robert Malechka here on the high side. We go 4 wide into the corner. I think that surprised a lot of people. Certainly Benjamin White there and David. And Robert clears them. And, okay, so Oster... there was Jacob Oster, who was following through Malechka.
I think
netcodes, I believe Benjamin White.
I'm gonna say 50-50.
Yeah, that was like that. They definitely got spooked there, and taking it 4 wide does tend to spook someone. And the netcode really did not help that situation there, and that just caused a massive pile up.
Watching again here from Benjamin White's point of view, it's very narrow through here. I mean, you imagine this was Daytona. I don't think you could do that. I don't think you could do that at Daytona, and that's just ping pong, and Drake involved in this one too. And that orange, I think it's a Rural King car there.
Yeah.
There's a few drivers trying to avoid running into the back of Jeff Drake, who's
and Mitch
limping
David.
along.
Yeah, Mitch David. So Drake is going to be in 3rd spot behind Oster and Malechka. But he's got to come in, so... Oh, Drake, I didn't know Drake was on Team Talent.
Ah.
I said, yeah, he's got the Team Talent, or at least the decal right there on his roll bar. I didn't know that.
We also have people on pit road.
Yeah, a lot of drivers taking the advantage here, coming onto pit road. Brandon Trost, one of the more notable ones, and he's just sitting there.
Was getting some work done because he got contact. So
yeah, so did Chase Cabry as well.
Yeah, and now is just sitting there on pit road. He's got his front wing fixed, and let's see how long he waits. Because pretty much everyone behind him at this point is damaged beyond repair.
So in chat here, Nick Sudik, so much swerving. I know, man. Hold your lines, crazy. Guys. Hold your lines. AJ, rip everyone. Yeah, and how many cautions are we at? I think this is our 4th.
Third one. I think
third.
so.
Okay, third.
Yep. And I'm once again looking at Jeff Drake just coasting along here with a destroyed right front suspension. He's going to come in soon, I would imagine. But hopefully in this case, it's not the same shenaniganry we saw in the last race where someone pulled this stunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say this, Benjamin White pulled a Martin Truex Jr. by riding the wall.
Yeah.
And if nobody knows what I mean by that, look up 2005 NASCAR Busch Series, Martin Truex Jr. Richmond. Where he got pushed into the wall on the backstretch and literally rode it on his driver's side along the wall from the middle of the back all the way through about the middle of turn 3 and 4.
On the driver's side?
Yep, on the driver's side.
At Richmond.
At Richmond in the NASCAR Busch Series in 2005.
Oh, wow.
And the driver that forced him into the wall, if I remember correctly on my history, it was Casey Kane that did it.
Okay, so Trost is still on the lead lap. He's going to be the last car, I believe, on the lead lap. So with whatever time we have left, I expect him to storm to the front.
Oh, yeah. Like, Trost is not going to take this line down.
Another one that wouldn't put it past me to make a charge toward the front, depending on how much or how little damage there was. Rob, you're going to make me break on the broadcast.
Yeah.
Chase Cabry's going to make a charge to the...
Yeah, it's like Rob Patterson has a soundboard that he's playing over the radio in voice chat, and it's quite humorous. I'll definitely say that. It's quite humorous.
Yeah, we'll give his Twitter page a little screen, or his Twitter feed a little screen time here if we can get a good shot of it. Right now on the backstretch. Battery Acid 94. Okay. There you go. Check him out on Twitch. Give him a subscribe. After you've watched us here, of course. Interesting. I for some reason got no data in my overlay for Robert Malechka. Just the graphics just says nothing. Interesting. Robert's hiding his details.
Well, they don't call him the fastest man alive for nothing.
Well, you got to shed some weight there, and I guess shedding his details it makes those data bits flow faster. But coming to restart here, as we are going to have a sprint to the finish.
And once again, like Malechka has a good launch here, but look at Jacob Alster. Alster already on the throttle. Not quite enough to get up alongside him just yet. But this is going to be quite the finish, one way or another. Robert Malechka, what can he do in this circumstance? We already know he's insanely good.
What the heck is this?
Hey, all the way on the apron there. Oh my goodness, and he clears him.
All right, so
that would have been an illegal move for sure.
Yeah, and Robert's going to note that.
Yeah, exactly. And now Monteferrante sees that red and black. Robert Malechka III. He will lead that.
And he Brazilian clears him. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna take that spot. Here comes Peterson, Mr. Soundboard.
Yep, the soundboard car now fighting up for the lead of this race.
And you remember who I told you guys? Look at there. Chase Cabry is in. Somebody threading the needle in the middle there. Holy God, I think that's Trost.
Here's Trost.
Brandon Trost is back. He is back in this fight. 5 to go this time.
God, this is close. Let the chaos begin.
Oh, you know it's going to happen. Monteferrante looking anywhere he can to get any sort of run. Jacob Alster getting a little help from Brandon Trost up on that high side. Can he get a run here?
If he has help there from that Kyle Larson scheme.
Oh.
They're picking wheels.
Oh.
Jeez.
Very, very close. That was... Yeah, trying to see up on that...
4 wide. now.
4 wide now. Trost, the monkey in the middle. They're trying to make that move up there for the lead. Fulchetti now almost getting squeezed multiple times over. 3 wide, 2 deep as they stand.
Tyquillo making that huge run now as he tries to go to the outside of Chase Cabry there. 4 wide again as they head off into turn number 3.
Fulchetti way up on that high line there, tries to get momentum. He can, not quite enough. Jacob Oster still holding it wheel to wheel. Brandon Trost doing what he can to get the run before we really start to sprint towards the end. 3 to go.
Before?
Who is going to make the move?
Oh, Pawlowski.
Oh my goodness. Matt Pawelski all the way up on the high line there, trying to get... Like, he's got a monster run going here, but now he's got no help. He's got no help up on that top side.
I think he's going to get help now, but it's going to be a brick wall of air.
Yep, same as we've seen several times already.
Chase Cabry with another run as they go through 3 and 4 here. He hits that brick wall. No, he backs out of it because he realizes this could be chaotic. He does not want to get caught in the middle in case a big one happens here.
Oh, and there's every chance that that could happen. 2 laps to go at Talladega.
He's going forward. He's going to get help from Matt Pawelski. Chase Cabry right now is going to the front. Oh, contact almost there. Matt Pawelski.
Oh, Cabry's got the big run up on the top side. I don't think it's quite enough. He's hitting that wall of air.
He's got help now.
Yeah, Oster was leading that last lap here. Everything to play for. 1 more to go at Talladega.
Chase Cabry thought he had the run going through 3 and 4. He hit the brick wall of air, but now he might be able to get help. 4 wide again behind Cabry. Just as I'm saying here, Cabry...
White flag.
Larson escaped. There he goes again. 4 wide on the outside. He's going to try and go for the lead. He hits the brick wall of air. 4 wide, 2 goes
Right behind him, Chris Frost up on the top side, trying to run 2. And here comes Pedersen. Pedersen trying to get the run on the high side. Not quite enough. No caution. We're on the last lap.
Saw contact there.
Oh, they're getting argy-bargy again. Montefuentes trying to push Robert Malechka, trying to find any way he can. Can he do it on the apron?
It's going to be a photo.
He's going to push the line. He's going to get Oster.
Oster.
Oster with the win. And wrecking after they pass the checkers.
You have to check the trust how to save the car.
Boy. Oh my goodness. That was the finish we come to expect at Talladega. We were starved of it the last time. What a finish. And Jacob Oster scores that win with a great bit of momentum on that higher line.
It was Malechka and Trost there for P2 and 3. As they pile up at the end of the turn 1, the front stretch going into turn 1. Oh my goodness.
That was the worst netcode in history at the end of that race.
Somebody was spinning on their top going into 1. Oh, that was Pahutsky that was spinning on his top. And he launched off of the Kyle Larson scheme. Everybody take a drink.
Yeah. Oh, man. And, give yourself a breather and definitely take a drink of your own choosing. Because that was an insane finish.
In the exit of turn 2, Trost sliced it. I don't know how to recover the car, but wow.
All right, well, let's get the final standings in here, and then we'll do some interviews. As another great race here at Talladega. Wow, guys, this is pretty good stuff here.
I'll say, a save by Trost. That could have been a lot worse.
All right, let's take a look at the results from race 2. Jacob Oster with the win. I'm sure he's going to be happy. Robert Malechka, P2. Both an improvement over race 1 for both those guys. Even Trost, an improvement over race 1, finishes 3rd. Alex Monty here. We'll just call him Monty if he comes back. He at least earned himself a nickname with the top 5. Monty, P4 for his appearance here on the Top Split broadcast doubleheader. Chris Frost, P5. Nanke, 6th. Shimmer. And we never really mentioned his name at all. Finishes 7th there in the 22. Collins with a great run there in the 12, finishing with an 8th, top 10 and 8th. Casey Pahutsky. He really brought his car deep from the pack. I believe he started near the back of the field. Pahutsky, no, only one spot. I thought he he did start on pit road. I think that's the deal. But he did get 9th there, and Brian Campbell 10th. Your biggest charger of the race was Andrew Shimmer. Shimmer improved 16 spots. Moving on to the next page here. Quilla 11th as he limped across the start-finish line. Pawlowski 12th, Peterson 13th. Mr. Soundboard, Pittman 14th, Fulchetti 15th, Cabri 16th, Drake 17th, Mashaw 18th, David 20th, and Benjamin White in 21st. Shadid 21st. We got 2 in 21st for some reason? Yeah, for some reason. That's odd.
Yeah, I was seeing Shadid in 21st there.
Even my overlay on the timing and scoring shows 2 people at 21st. Not sure why, but White is ranked higher than Shadid, so let's call Shadid 22nd, Signori 23rd, Stephen Lee 24th, and Derek McCorn in 25th. Let's call it that here. There we go. Yeah, interesting. Okay, I don't think that's a limitation of the overlay. I think that's something odd with iRacing.
Yes, he is.
All right. And let's bring up third place finisher, Brandon Trost. Here he is, Brandon Trost in the booth with us. Congratulations, sir. Finally got you here in the booth. It was just a matter of time. P3, and then get into it a little bit, little extracurriculars after the checkered flag there, but still brought the car home at P3. A big improvement over yesterday, or the first race today. Talk about your race, though. You were just kind of hanging out there in the early stages, but decided right after 25 or so, you're going to go make a run to the front.
Yeah, same exact strategy as the last race, really. Just ride around in the back for 25 laps and then try to go. Last race ended up in a wreck doing that. This race didn't, so it worked a little better.
What's the best strategy here, though, really? I mean, is it just stay in the draft, keep yourself out of trouble, and then make sure you're there for the last 5?
So there's 2 different ways to play it, in my opinion. You can either go and ride around in field map 5 in the top 5 or 6, like I did in both races. And then right around that 28 to go when the fuel window opens, floor it, try to get the lead, pit from the lead. Or you can do what Robert and them were doing, which is right around in the back and just be the last ones to pit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's 2 different strategies and approaches that seem to both work.
So, in terms of Talladega now, I don't know how many more races you intend to run this week. A lot of drivers, after they get a couple out of the way, it's like, okay, I got my couple in. You did pretty well in one of the what was the strength of field for this one? This was 500 points lower than the one the 815 one. 42.97. So you kind of audited out that first race with this one. Are you going to make any more runs this week? Because I know Talladega is not really the track to do any IR farming at.
And I think it's actually decent for iRating farming.
Is it? Okay.
Well, because the nice thing with it is not a lot of cars finish. So if you can finish in the top half,
that's true.
Fair point.
But I would say I'm probably only going to do one more, and I'm just going to have to be careful and try to find the highest SOF, because I really only have 230 points, which is still down 50 to Robert, I think, this week.
Yeah. Well, it's a pleasure to
find a few.
It's a pleasure to have you here on the broadcast. Finally, we've seen you in a number of these races and a regular participant in the series, so it's good to have you here. Finally, typically what we do when we got you up here for an interview, you do some shout outs to friends, family, sponsors, teammates, anyone you want to say hi to. So go right ahead, sir. You earned it. We're thrilled to have you.
Well, I'll just give a shout out to everybody in the community. These races tonight have been interesting. I don't think this is anybody's cup of tea. Nobody enjoys doing these. So it's, we'll get back to normal racing next week.
Normal racing at Atlanta. Well, we will see you there, but congratulations on finishing on the podium here in the second race of our doubleheader.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
You too. And we'll move him up into the waiting room and bring down Robert Malechka. King Robert here. Second by the slimmest of margins. But after kind of audited out that first race, so to speak, because you finished 10th, so you did manage to finish better here, but that had a higher strength of field. I would imagine, though, even though this has 500 points lower on strength of field, you earn more points out of this one. How are you feeling about this finish and getting out of Talladega week?
Pretty good. I'm just here to help the SOF and hang out right around in the back. If I get a decent finish, I do. But just kind of only way you can really pass people here from the back to the front is in the trial because it gets wider.
Mm-hmm.
And we timed it great, Jacob and I. It's a shame what happened, but we're able to kind of control the race from there, and very happy to at least survive.
Guys, any questions for points leader Robert here? As we've now completed, at least in terms of broadcast wise, the Talladega week.
Yeah, exactly, and I know we were like obviously Talladega was always going to be a bit of a meme week, but did you in terms of the thought process you have for this race? Obviously, both times you started from the back and worked your way up to the field. We expect that at a lot of tracks actually, but Talladega was kind of going to be one of the obvious ones here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that really, do you think that because we were talking with Trost about different strategies here, do you think that the chaotic nature of Talladega throws a bit of an X factor in there that could mean those strategies not work out in the end, perhaps? Or do you think that you had like a broad idea of what to expect? Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I guess I was talking to a lot of the guys just before this, and we think the fuel window is a bit too narrow, where the strategies you can't really do different strategies.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we should maybe shorten it to 45, 46 laps, something like that, just to give some flexibility in strategy. Because right now, I mean, you guys saw it's just kind of a boring fuel save for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
We're single file for about 20 rows back, it seemed. And that's the name of the game, right? Just they feel to shorten it up. So
what would be the better way to go? Shorten it up or make it just go a little bit longer?
So longer would actually make it worse because you would have to. Everyone would be saving even more, right? So definitely just shorten it up.
Okay. Well, you know how this goes, sir. Friends, family, sponsors, anyone you want to say hi to, go right ahead. Shout outs time. Finish second. I don't see Jacob here in the chat, but we also want to send our congratulations on to him. But I'll let you go ahead and take care of the rest.
Yeah, I guess first I have to thank Private Label Team Hype and Power Slide. Happy to use of that, but obviously thank you guys on URL or ERN, I guess now, for streaming. So
yeah,
hopefully it was a decent show, and we look forward to next week.
Next week is Atlanta, the old bumpy one. So we're not going to see, hopefully not another meme race. I would expect we're going to see kind of a return back to the norm, maybe a little slidey, maybe a little hot racetrack. We'll see. But next week, no more meme races until I think I saw ISS on the schedule for next season. So that might be the next doubleheader we do. But we thank you for being a good representative of the community, and congratulations on the P2. Send our best to Jacob, and we will catch you at the next one, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate a lot of the hard work you guys do, and see you next week.
Appreciate it. All right, and Justin is up in the waiting room talking to Trust. So
Okay.
it's just us three gonna close this one out. Lewis, thoughts of today's race? I know, again, you're not a big fan of this style of racing, but it's what's that?
I changed my mind.
You changed your mind?
Yes.
Okay, talk about it.
So I changed my mind for the race today. So that's the race kind of clean, because we saw things like Alex pass Valeska for the yellow line or whatever, the first yellow flag for whatever. But hey, was a good race to the end. That's a good thing. So, like Robert said, it's heavy fuel, and yeah, it's kind of boring to be heavy fuel and try to avoid the contact, and then the 5 laps to go just goes straight to the win. So anyways, but at least next week is a good week because it's Atlanta. It's for the people understand and training. So that's a good thing for the next one. So unfortunately, this kind of race is for both. So everybody vote let's have a Talladega or Daytona or whatever. But anyway, it is what it is. And but what I said, I changed my mind because it was a very good final race to the night. So good for that.
Stevie.
Well, Talladega gonna Talladega, and I think we saw that pretty well tonight. Yeah, it's always good to have these, it's fun to have a meme race out there. It really is. And, even if you have these massive SOF events, you're still having a lot of fun doing it. And, the thing that struck me, though, was the heated arguments after the race here. I mean, I get it. We're all competitive people here, but that was one of the... In the first race, particularly, that whole argument, the whole argument between everybody, pretty much. That was certainly something. That was certainly, man, that was a thing that I wouldn't have expected to see there. I thought they would have not so much laugh it off, but it's like, it's Talladega. It is what it is. But no, they were legitimately getting into it. It was crazy shit, and it was crazy stuff. Sorry, I was like, no.
There's the fireworks right there. Okay,
that was crazy. But racing at Talladega is crazy, pretty much by nature. So, this was a Talladega week, and it did not disappoint. It really did not. So, back to a bit more normalcy in Atlanta, and hopefully a bit of time for everyone to cool off a little bit.
Justin, quickly, your final thoughts before we move on.
Just wow, that's all I gotta say.
Okay.
And well, the first race I didn't expect short track tempers to cross over, but such is life. Second race, it was a fuel mileage race with some ballsy moves. I'll just leave it at that. But that is Talladega. I'm used to it as someone that has run stock cars for at least 6-7 years as a member of iRacing in the NIS. So that's kind of expected, but not as crazy as it was in terms of the stock car stuff running here at Talladega. But at least we returned to normalcy. I believe it's the bumpy Atlanta we go to.
Yes, 2008 version. Yes.
Yes, thank God we don't get back-to-back meme weeks. But I will say this. Since we were talking about see fixed for the trucks at Mid-Ohio. I'm looking forward to going to Mid-Ohio this week. To be honest, I'm ready to begin the sunsetting for the current engine package that we have now, because I'm just ready to experience 800 plus horsepower again, particularly 900. I think they said 950 horsepower when you use push to pass on the road and street circuits with the hybrid system now. So 900 plus horsepower. Oh, I cannot wait to feel that below my loud pedal foot again after at least 12, 14 years.
All right, and there you see on the screen the image for our thumbnail for that's on ERN for Mid-Ohio. So that is this Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern on ERN, the Elite Racing Network. You can get to them at youtube.com/@EliteRacingLeague, or just type in Elite Racing Network in the search bar. They'll find it. This is one of the upcoming streams. Make sure to hit the notify button so you don't forget. Better yet, just subscribe to the channel. Click the bell, and you'll be notified when we go live, so you don't miss out on the race. 2 p.m. Eastern. And then for the remainder of the IAS races, they'll be on ERN for the remainder of the season, all the way through to the Nashville Super Speedway.
It's Jacob up, so I don't know.
Is Jacob here?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
All right. Well, we'll bring him in here. We were just getting ready to sign off, but they saw you pop in, so we got to give you your just desserts here. A win at Talladega. You've been looking for one here lately, and you got it.
So I'll be honest, I totally forgot y'all did the broadcast on a second one for this. I should have known, but I forgot. And I was like, wait a second. It's good to win. That may be the most anticlimactic, unserious 1-2 Rob and I have ever had, and we've had a couple unserious ones. But that was interesting. I did not expect. I kind of accidentally killed the field, but it happens. It's
more than anything else.
It's Talladega. It's whatever. So this isn't the most points for the week, so it's just kind of fun to get another win and add another one to the tally.
Well, you got the win, and that's going to help in the championship to keep you probably in second as we go to the next race here at Atlanta. But any shout-outs, anybody wants to say hi to, friends, family, sponsors, teammates, the guys at I5G, go right ahead, man. You earned it here with the win. The margin of victory was 0.043.
Yeah, it was actually a lot larger than I expected for a margin. I thought it was going to be like 1,000 for something. That's would have been the laps before. Well, everyone that was in our Discord channel just kind of chilling. There was a lot of stuff going on that last couple laps. I don't even really know what happened. Everyone at I5G, they're the best. We got Pro Q coming up in the next couple weeks, so that's going to be an interesting ordeal for us to at least attempt. So we got a lot on our plate moving forward, but we're going to try and maybe not finish second in this championship this year.
Yeah, we're going to be rooting for you IndyCar regulars in the Pro Series when you guys compete against some of those hired gun ringers of the bigger esports squad. So we'll be rooting for you guys. Hope you do well. But congratulations on the win here at it would be a very easy version of Talladega before you get into that Pro Series here in the next couple of weeks. So we get them all in here and then get ready for that Pro Series. And once again, we wish you guys all the best there against all of those pro ringers. Sometimes it's not fair, but I suspect you guys at I5G and the team Hyperslide guys and everybody else are going to kind of come up with some strategy to take it to them. But congratulations tonight, and we will catch you at the next one, sir.
All right, thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed the 2 races tonight.
You got it.
Jacob, before you go, stay on, because me and Stevie have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
I'll move. If you guys want to jump up into the waiting room to talk to him, you can. I'll go ahead and call the rest of the broadcast out. So you guys can jump up in the waiting room with him.
All right.
There we go. It's just me and LGN now. One more time, though, before we get on out of here, is want to make mention, and we just had it before, the Mid-Ohio race, IIS, 2 p.m. Eastern Saturday. It'll be myself, Antonio Estrada, and Ryan Walker here on ERN. 2 p.m. Eastern time here on ERN, the IIS Mid-Ohio week. that's going to do it for tonight. Once again, your podium from race 1 was Tracy Did with the win, Antonio Estrada and Kyle Clindworth. Clindy there, P2 and P3 for the podiums. And then your podium for race 2, Jacob Oster, Robert Malechka, and Brandon Tross. Joining us again next week for round 5 of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split on ERN as we head to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Coverage, as always, begins around 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, it's 8:15 p.m. Eastern. And again, it'll be right here on the Elite Racing Network channel for the remainder of the season. As always, you can find all the correct broadcast times in your area on YouTube at youtube.com/@EliteRacingLeague. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, but not easy and require time and money to produce. Because of your generosity and donations, we've been able to bring you IndyCar Oval action nearly sponsor-free. If you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and enjoyed our coverage of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split, please take the time to go visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our 2024 broadcast fund. We realize times are tough, so any contribution would be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and making us a part of your Tuesday evenings each and every week now over on ERN. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not an easy one, so please help support P1 and ERN with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of tonight's race. And if you participated in chat, thank you very much. You make it a very fun part of our broadcast when we can interact with you. And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out more on P1's other iRacing programming, including the Elite Racing League's Warriors for Peace IndyCar Series, which will kick off their 9th season on Tuesday, August 1st at Homestead Miami Speedway. To learn more about the Elite Racing League and how to sign up for their upcoming IndyCar season, join their Discord. The invite is in the description. Track cams are provided for this race by Whiplash Sim Cams, and they gave us some good ones today. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with Whiplash Sim Cams. Learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook, or follow them on Twitter. The links are in the description. So for Stephen Larkham, Justin Petschauer, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, everyone here at P1 and at ERN, I'm Gary Gotzo saying all good night. Thanks for watching. And to all our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch it again right here in Atlanta for the next race of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split. Good night and happy 4th of July weekend.